Hello, my little ninjas. My name's Mike. This is my YouTube page, Mox News. And welcome to your Wake and Bake News at 7 p.m. I'm your host, Moxie. And I have a fat puff ready to go. I've been waiting all day to share a nice fat puff with you all. So I'm going to be ready in less than 2 minutes. How long is it going to take you? Hopefully less than that, so we can all enjoy a big fat puff together. You should know to be ready. You all should know. This isn't something new, people. I have interesting videos for you today. Mostly local, a couple of the big mainstream news agencies, but mostly local. And it's interesting. It's interesting. Like I said, interesting clips. Are you ready for a big fat puff? I'm almost ready. I'm almost there. Oh, I think I'm ready. Okay, I'm ready now. Here we go. Ready? 1, 2, 3, go. Already. Excellent. I am so glad to hear that, Andy. Is it Andy? Andy. I thought it said Audrey for a minute.
We're getting feedback from the other studio. So
What's that?
I can hear his.
Oh,
his
yeah, I was
live
worried
stream.
about that.
I'll close.
He's kind of being quiet, too, so I was...
I'll close your studio door and I'll close his. So they're both canceling each other out.
Okay. Alright, so we got rid of the other streamer background noise. I'm about ready for a bong hit. How about you guys? It's funny because it's true. I'm glad I got that out. So, today, what's the video about today? It's about Democrats, right? The Democrats are trying to make it so that only vaccinated people can travel on public type transportation. Now, I haven't heard them say anything about buses, but they're definitely trying to make it so that if you don't have a vaccination, you cannot go on a plane. And I don't think that that's the rule now. But I think they're trying to make this shit like permanent, right? You know, if we have this flu, right? Flu, COVID, plague, whatever. You know, these things don't last forever, right? These plagues, you know, they go for a little while and then they disappear, and most of them never come back, right? So why is it that why would you make laws like this permanent, right? This is what I'm concerned about. And we have other things going on. The only person in the government currently with lower poll numbers than Joe Biden is Kamala Harris. And they're trying to say she has somehow a 28% approval rating, which is just bullshit, okay? Kamala Harris, when she was running for president in the primary in 2020, right? She's a primary candidate to be president of the United States. She could not get 1% of support from the African American community. Let me say that again. During her presidential campaign, Kamala Harris could not even get 1% of the African American support for voters in this country. Now, somehow, all of a sudden, miraculously, she has 28% approval rating, which is horrible. But I can't imagine it being that high. Because she's a horrible politician. And I have a video all about this. But she's a horrible politician. People don't like her. And now she's in the public eye more than ever, right? And I don't know, I just don't believe these numbers. But that's the thing about polls, and I've talked about this before, is that you can skew polls, right? Generally, when they take polls, it's not like they just put up a page on the internet and they say, hey, what do you think? It's not the way they work. A poll is almost always done over the telephone, and what they'll do is they'll disqualify probably the majority of the people that they call until they find ones that they like. Like a disqualifying question about a Kamala Harris poll would be, do you watch Fox News? And they say, okay, sorry, you can't take part in our poll, right? So we already know you're not going to be of the view that we want you to be, of the mindset that we want you to be, so you're not welcome here. So they're looking for people to get, they're looking for people desperately to try and get approval rating for Kamala Harris. And even after they filter out all the fucking Fox viewers and all the people who call themselves conservatives and all the people who watch this other channel and all the people who watch this other channel and all the people who listen to Rush Limbaugh, after they filter out all those people, Kamala Harris can still only get 28% approval rating, which I still don't believe. So, this is where we're at in this country in politics, and this is it's so confusing how we got here. We have good people in this country, lots and lots and lots of good people. So why is it that we just wind up with scumbags for politicians, for representatives, for people that are our first foot forward into the world? We have the shittiest fucking cunts in the fucking world to show our first face forward to the world. Joe Biden. Oh, great. Some fucking dolt who fucking poops his pants and doesn't know where the fuck he is. That's the person that's showing the world that America is the shiny beacon and leading the way boldly into the 21st century. Joe Biden. That's the best America can do. I don't get it. How did we get this way? Is it just only shitty people are drawn to power? You know? Is that what it is? Because I saw this thing about Elon Musk the other day, right? And he's saying, should I sell some of my Tesla stock, like $20 billion worth, and end world hunger? And, he put this out on Twitter to do like a poll. And the real question, personally, Elon, if you want to save someone, I'd really love it if you save the manatees. I don't know if it'll cost you $20 billion, but this should be a much bigger priority than solving world hunger. And I'll tell you why. When the manatees are gone, they're gone for good. And my guess is there always has been world hunger, and there always will be. But once the manatees are gone, they're gone for good. So how about having some fucking priorities, Elon, and going, you know what? I'm going to sell $30 billion worth of stock so that I can save the manatees and end world hunger, right? And if all it costs is $20 billion to end world hunger, why isn't that happening? Because that seems like, a drop in the bucket these days. And you could be like the champion of the world. I don't even understand why China doesn't do it. China's got all the fucking money in the world. They could go, yes, we are the god on this planet. We are the ones leading the world into a brighter tomorrow. Where the fuck you at, China? Come on, man. Elon Musk gonna make you look bad. Gonna make you look like a tiny little fucking pussy, China. And by the way, Elon, what is the fucking deal with, I can end world hunger. Should I? Fuck you. Okay? Fuck you, Elon Musk. Let's be real fucking clear. I can end world hunger, but should I? What have you ever heard a more stupid question in the fucking world? What the hell is wrong with you? Oh, I know. You have some fucking complex disease that makes you not think like other people think. And fucking world hunger, you fucking tight-ass piece of shit. What is the holdup? Why have you waited this long? You have more money than fucking God. What is the deal, man? I think marijuana has the opposite effect on me that it's supposed to. Don't you? I don't know what effect it's supposed to have, but it seems to be working correctly to me. Right? I'm right about Elon Musk, right? I mean, if you can end world hunger, what's the fucking holdup, dude? And why didn't you do it 10 years ago? You know what I'm saying? How many people have starved in the last 24 hours because you're waiting on your Twitter poll to decide if you're going to end world hunger tomorrow? How many people have to starve to death, Elon, before you decide with all your fucking loving and adoring fans whether or not to end world hunger? And the question is, what was the vote? Was the vote, yeah, don't sell your stock, don't do it, you're gonna fucking make the stock crash? Or was it, yes, what's the holdup? Pull your head from your ass and make something really important happen in the world. Fucking cunt. Jeez. What is this shit? I mean, was that some kind of fucking idiotic joke? You know, should I end world hunger or not? What the fuck is wrong with him? Seriously. I think I better have another bong hit. What do you guys think? Let's play this video about Dems trying to make travel during, well, again, I don't know if it's during COVID or if this is permanent, so that unvaccinated people cannot travel on public transportation. If they make this permanent, I don't understand why. I mean, other than, of course, to hold the population down and people that aren't fucking followers, people that don't do what we say, those people we got to keep contained. We don't want them moving around a whole lot. Right? Is that what I'm hearing? Let's play this video. I'll heat up the bong and we'll see if the next bong hit helps anymore. Be right back.
As travel starts to pick back up, a push has come from Democrats in Congress for new vaccine requirements for travelers. This comes as airlines prepare for full flights during the holiday season. Brian Yennis breaks it all down.
The U.S. reopening international travel this week after a year-and-a-half shutdown, allowing entry to foreign visitors who show proof of vaccination and a negative COVID test. Now, 36 Democratic lawmakers want to see similar rules extended to Americans, making anyone who boards a domestic flight show vaccine proof or a negative test. The group penning a letter to the White House Friday that reads in part, "This is a necessary and long overdue step toward ensuring all Americans feel safe and confident while traveling and reduce the chances of yet another devastating winter surge." For now, the White House has held off on imposing that requirement, but also hasn't ruled it out.
Everything's on the table. We just don't have any announcement to preview right now on this.
This week, the Biden administration pushed back a deadline for airlines to get their workers vaccinated until after the holidays. The extension comes as airlines struggle with flight crew workloads. Southwest Pilots Association says in October, 738 pilots removed themselves due to fatigue in what's known as fatigue pool, compared to a normal 100. Flight attendants have also dealt with a record number of unruly passengers this year as they work to enforce face mask requirements.
The airlines, just like every other industry, was pushing high productivity on the American worker. And now, in this time, people are getting sick a little bit more. They're being real conservative about coming to work.
I have the bong all heated up. If anyone wants to join me in a puff, I will be able to do that momentarily. And what exactly, Doctor, is the trick in the trick question? I mean, I want to understand. Is it supposed to be funny? Oh, I can end world hunger. Oh yeah, I was just kidding. What is the trick there? I mean, I'll admit it, I'm pretty dense. So, when it comes to humor, I probably don't get it sometimes. So, I'm just wondering what the trick was there. Hello, caller.
Hey, Mark.
What up, G?
Well, I heard you rant about Elon Musk manatee.
Yeah, you gonna rant now too? Hey, I don't talk about you ranting when you talk, do I? I say, man, he has a nice conversation. What?
Hold on. But I think you're focusing your energy on the wrong people. I don't care what Elon Musk do with manatees or not. That's his problem. You know what I care about more right now? The people who are in power, the Democrats, who don't give a shit and don't give a crap about how America is suffering. We're going to have a very cold winter months because of Joe Biden, how Joe Biden is failing us. We have gas prices almost $5 in California. And this is unloaded regular gasoline. We have meat prices going to the roof. We have supply chain issues. We cannot even buy Christmas gifts to our kids anymore, Mark.
Hey, tell me something, Manny. Let me ask you a question, Manny. Let me ask you a question. How many hours of Fox News do you watch a day?
None.
What?
Because I work, Mark.
So,
I don't have cable.
so
I watch the Joe Rogan show. I watch Fox News.
And you listen to Rush Limbaugh.
He's dead.
Oh, well. But you used to listen to Rush Limbaugh.
I used to listen as well until he put that song called Barack the Magic Negro or something like that. No, it's really. He actually put a song.
Yeah, I know. He's a horrible human being, dude. Go ahead. Or was.
That's actually how when I stopped listening to him when he put that song. Like, no, this is too much. On radio, on like talk radio nationwide, and I'm like, are you freaking serious, man? But anyways, now, Mark, I think the Democrats are failing us. They're failing us big time, man. I mean, he closed the pipelines because of the environment, and now the prices are skyrocketing, though. Because of the vaccine mandate, nobody wants to work. We have a lot of parents fighting about critical race theory, about teaching their kids about being gay, and they're showing their kids like pornographic books at elementary school saying being gay is normal and cool.
You think that's pornographic to say being gay is normal?
That's highly inappropriate. That's something that
you called it pornographic. You called it pornographic. What's pornographic?
Yes.
Tell me specifically what is pornographic.
They're having descriptions of sexual relationships on our books. They are drawing pictures of like sexual activities that people from same sex they do in elementary schools.
They're drawing pictures. You mean like stick figures or something?
Yeah, but on books for little kids, for like first graders, kindergarten. That's so wrong, Mom. You don't teach little kids about gender fluidity.
Hey, look, Manny. You know what? If you're not teaching little kids about sexuality, someone else is. So you need to be teaching them about sexuality. And when you do it, then they'll know where they're coming from, because this is where you're coming from. And when you explain it to them, then if someone else comes along and says, yeah, this, and you'll go, yeah, no, I don't think so. Because you already know how you feel about sexuality at this moment. So you have to teach your own kids.
But I don't think that's the job of educators to tell them about sexuality. especially when they're first grade, Mark. Come on.
I don't think it's the job of schools to be talking about sexuality or anything else for that matter. The problem is that there isn't anybody else to teach them this stuff, you know? So if there was someone else to teach them, were they supposed to learn it on the Animal Channel or fucking Planet on the fucking internet? I mean, come on, Manny. You know what that's like? They're going to wind up into horrible places. So somebody has to talk to them about this, and it's really unfortunate that the parents don't.
Well, just go online and watch the lips of TikToks. Watch the lips of TikToks, and you'll see how creepy and dude, I really want to push him in the face, for real. Like, if these are the kind of teachers who are actually teaching my kids, I legitimately want to punch them in the face because they are so out of touch. They are really contaminating the minds of our kids, man. Like, legit, man. I mean, you know that Loudoun County, Virginia, they actually try to protect, like, a transgender person, though, because that transgender person raped a little girl in a bathroom in a high school.
Mm-hmm.
And they were trying to protect the perpetrator and not the victim, the parent of the victim. The father of the victim went to the city of the PTA meeting, and he got arrested because he actually raised that concern. Like, what the hell, Mark?
Look, man, I have been about freedom of speech forever. I'm about freedom, Manny. And from day one, I've been talking about how these people in our government are fucked up and that they just keep fucking hurting us and chipping away at our freedom and chipping away at our freedom. So, it's not the Democrats, Manny. We've had this discussion again and again. The Democrats really could. The Democrats really could. They really. What's that?
They're the ones trying to social engineer society. Society doesn't want that crap. They don't want that culture. They're trying to police how we think. They're trying to police our culture. They're trying to police our
and of course, you don't think that the GOP is trying to coerce how we think and what we do with children and what they think is appropriate. You don't think they're trying to do that, is that right?
No, I don't think so. They're libertarians.
No, the GOP is libertarians. All right through.
The Grand Old Party.
They're not conservatives. They're libertarians.
Correct.
Okay. That's not the way I see it, Manny.
Well, I'm sad that you disagree with me much because that's how I see it right now.
That's how you feel. The question is what they are, not how you feel, Manny.
But anyway, Max, I think that if we get failures here is the actual Democrats. We need to get rid of the Democrats in 2022.
We need to send them all to jail, Manny. I don't know how many times I gotta have this discussion with you. They all belong in prison.
I totally agree.
That includes the fucking Republicans.
Yes, everyone.
All of them, absolutely.
Hold on. You know that they actually the Wyoming GOP, they just disavow Liz Cheney.
Good. Liz Cheney
is going down, man. I really like that.
Yeah, fucking Liz Cheney is a horrible. There probably is not a single human being on the planet that I despise more than Liz Cheney. I mean, her father I despise just as much, basically.
I'm surprised that her father's still alive, though.
I don't know what you're saying.
Yeah, heart transplant.
All right, Manny. It's good to hear from you. I have a video here about exactly what you've been talking about, teaching this in schools and teaching that in schools. So I will play that momentarily. Okay.
All right, Rox.
All right.
Yeah, this is out of. These people are out of touch, and we need to teach them a lesson.
Yeah, you're gonna want to watch this. Don't miss this video, Manny, because it's about them trying to not call pedophiles, whatever they are. You know what I mean? So I think you'll be interested. It's like you're saying, all this fucking, all this, not judging people and not whatever. I think you'll like this video. Anyways, be sure and stick around.
Bye, Max. Take it easy.
Okay, talk to you soon.
Bye.
Okay, so the telephone number is up there on the screen. If anybody wants to call, Manny's got it memorized. So it's 805-669-6397, 805 Mox News. And what I want to say is that I want there isn't a good side here, okay? Manny thinks the Democrats are the problem, all right? There isn't a good side. This doesn't get any better no matter who's in charge. It just keeps getting more and more and more fucked up. And again, this is what I was talking about earlier. I don't know how we can possibly have these horrible, horrible, horrible fucking leaders, or as they would call themselves, public servants. How is it that, I know I keep saying this, but how does America not have better than, how can Joe Biden, Donald Trump, Barack Obama was understandable. He was a wolf in sheep's clothing, or, a salesman. I got a quote from Cody Williams, where it says that Barack Obama is a grocery store clerk, something like that. It's a really good quote. But I'll look it up. What was I saying? Oh, right. These fucking politicians are just the same. George W. Bush, let's take him for example. He's this guy who everybody knows had a cocaine problem, which no judging, but he also had this alcohol problem, and he just acts like he's all fucked up, like his brain, which I don't want. Look, I don't want to somehow disparage people whose brains don't work quite right. What I'm saying is that if you're Elon Musk, if you're George W. Bush, and your brain doesn't work right, you're asking questions like, should I end world hunger? Imagine if the President of the United States said, should we end world hunger? Should we do that? The question is it possible? Now, I don't know. If it was a trick question, then was the trick to see how many people care about world hunger? Because, if we actually cared about it, we could end world hunger. Is that what you think it was? Or you think he was serious about ending world hunger with $20 billion? Because it seems like, he could take $20 billion and, like I was saying, save the manatees. Because no matter what happens, unless the planet melts down, there's always going to be people. There's not going to be manatees unless we do something now. So please, Elon, if you actually want to make something good happen for the world, save the fucking manatees. My God, man. How can this not be a top priority in the world? I do not understand. And I don't want to. Because you know what the answer is? Money. You know what the answer is? Elon wants to not sell his stock and be, the trillionaire that he likes being. Not that $20 billion is going to touch a trillionaire. This is the whole point. He's going to make another $20 billion next year, probably in the next 6 months. So, let's start having some priorities, Elon. Fuck Tesla stock. Who gives a shit? Okay? Let's start making a difference in the world. Because if you think PayPal and Tesla are making some kind of giant difference in the world, you live in a fantasy fucking world. End of story. Hello, caller. Hello, caller! Hello, caller. Uh-oh. pull it out. Gonna whip it out right here. Gonna pull it out. I can't fucking hear you! God, I think we need another bong hit, huh? I must have waited too long today. Should have eaten that brownie earlier, too. Are you gonna say something or not? I guess not. Alright. Thanks for calling. It's always nice to hear from you. What was that? Did that person say something to you, Craig? I tried. It's all I can do is try. You know, I mean, what would you do if you had $1 trillion? What would be your priorities? Would you have to ask? I mean, $1 trillion. It's like the amount of money he makes. He could spend $1 billion a week, and it would never touch his $1 trillion that he has. So, you know, $1 billion a week would probably go a long ways when it comes to world hunger. I don't know. I fear that the infrastructure for ending world hunger is all, you know, filled with a bunch of corrupt people and politicians and greasing the palms of people so that you can end world hunger is makes my stomach turn. Hello, caller.
Michael, this is Steve McClanahan. What the fuck is a manatee, dude? I'm fucking trying to figure this shit out. Literally. Ladies and gentlemen, what the fuck is a manatee, and why are we so concerned about this shit? Michael, there is probably the most hugest case going on the face of the fucking earth. Do you not fucking know about this? The case of the fucking century, Michael. Have you heard about this?
No.
You haven't heard about the case, huh?
No.
Do you want me to tell you about the case?
No.
You don't want to know about the case. I understand. It's pretty brutal. Tell you what, I was thinking that CNN and all these motherfuckers, including yourself, were right about this stuff, but after watching the case, Michael, I think y'all motherfuckers might be wrong. And it's going to be hard for you to admit that you're wrong. Michael, do you think you'll ever admit that you were wrong?
Not about Rittenhouse.
Ever, will you?
I'm not wrong about Rittenhouse.
You're not. You're not even after a jury and, you know, and their peers and all this stuff.
Look, I don't know what CNN's saying. I don't watch that fucking shit. I haven't watched a single minute of the Kyle Rittenhouse trial. Let's just get there so you can understand. Not a single minute.
That's probably not a good idea, especially if you're going to go spew your opinion, you know? Especially if you're not going to admit you're wrong either. Really,
my opinion has nothing to do with anything that happened in the trial whatsoever.
Michael, this isn't really looking good for the network currently.
What network?
Seriously. The Fox News Network, you son of a bitch. God damn it. What network? Jesus Christ, Michael.
Not looking good in what way?
Of like that, you know, Kyle and Slash, you know, just ignore.
See, look, this is the problem, okay? This is the problem. If I start posting Kyle Rittenhouse fucking videos, here's what's going to happen. It's going to be fucking CNN viewers, and like you're saying, oh, there's these people, and oh, there's these people, and you have to be on this side if you're not on this side. And I'm not on either fucking side, okay?
Oh, you chose a side, and you're on it.
No, I'm not. I haven't watched a minute of the trial. How can I possibly have chosen a side?
Because you were saying that Kyle Rittenhouse was out there just looking for fucking trouble and he deserves to go to prison.
I didn't say he deserves to go to prison. I did not say he deserves to go to prison.
Until he's found guilty, you're going to put a big old headline up there, thumbnail, be like, Kyle Rittenhouse found guilty. See, I told you.
He's not
I told
going to
you,
be found guilty,
he's
dude.
fucking looking. He's just looking for trouble.
He was looking
That's all
for
you're
trouble.
waiting for.
He
That's
was.
why you can't say anything about it right now.
You're not supposed to go and do. Look, I grew up with guns. How many guns have you owned in your life?
How many have I had?
Yes.
What does that matter? It doesn't matter what fucking guns I own in my life.
It does matter. It matters very much. It matters like people taking a gun and pointing it at someone and going, it's empty. Here's the deal. A gun's never empty, okay? I have an understanding of what a fucking gun is, okay? You don't take your gun out of the house and go hunt for fucking trouble, okay? It's stupid. So here's what Kyle Rittenhouse is guilty of, in my opinion. Being incredibly fucking stupid. Are we clear about my opinion about Kyle Rittenhouse?
Okay, so, in fact, what I'm saying is, that is exactly what CNN is saying.
I don't think, I seriously doubt that's what CNN is saying. Yeah. But I wouldn't know because I haven't watched a minute of the discussion about Kyle Rittenhouse.
Okay, so then why would you have an opinion about it if you've not watched a single minute?
Because someone asked me, and I grew up with guns. I, again, as I told you 1 minute ago, understand guns, okay, and gun ownership.
You want to sit here and talk about growing up with guns and shit like that? What kind of an idiot sleeps with a fucking 45 underneath their pillow?
I had a 357 under my pillow at 12 years old. Yeah.
You
You don't understand the kind of household or environment I grew up in. Okay?
Okay, so then, like, you're not thinking it's a good idea to maybe leave the house and have a firearm on you? That's a bad idea, and anybody that does that is a fucking idiot.
I started leaving, I carried a concealed weapon many times from age 13 on.
Dude, listen. You completely have, have a serious problem of there was nobody there causing any trouble.
I said nothing like that. I said nothing like that.
That's what you're not understanding.
What?
You're not understanding that you have literally been saying that Kyle was just going there looking for trouble, and you ignore the massive amounts of chaos and violence and soccer kicks to the fucking face and people getting ran over by cars. Oh my God, Michael, I gotta go.
That's the definition of going to look for trouble. Okay? Oh, there's all this shit going on. Let's take our guns down there and see who we can fucking kill. Because, again, you never point a gun at someone unless you intend to kill them. Because they're always loaded. Okay? So you never point a gun at someone. So you don't take a gun to an environment where you most likely are going to have to point a gun at someone. Okay? It's a horrible plan. And I could never imagine myself, who has been highly trained with weapons, to take a gun and go. I mean, I could imagine having a gun and going through that area, but not being in that area, seeing if there's anyone I can fucking shoot and kill. Okay? If you put yourself there, if you have a gun that's ready to go, you're looking to see who you can shoot and kill. Is that this hard to understand? Hello, caller.
Hi, how's it going?
I'm fine.
Thank you for bringing up this discussion. It's really important. I mean, not just the title of your video, but the whole gun thing too.
Go ahead.
I just wanted to kind of piggyback the last thing, and yeah, I sleep with a Glock under my pillow, and it's really, it gives me a lot of confidence to open carry everywhere I go.
I love open carry, dude. I think it's such a
Yes.
good thing. Go ahead.
Oh, absolutely. I was recently investigated by the Attorney General. I'm in New Hampshire, by the way, the New Hampshire Attorney General, because I open carried my Glock that I made myself. By the way, it was a polymer 80, so I drilled it out and put it together. And but I open carried at polling stations when there was an election going on, and then I was investigated by the Attorney General. I had looked up all the laws beforehand, and
Did the cops say anything to you while you were voting and stuff?
I never voted. I didn't vote. I wasn't electioneering. I wasn't campaigning. I went and filmed it.
Oh, okay.
I was filming. I went to 6 different polling locations to cover and see if they respected my right, and half of them were no problem. They were very welcoming. They knew that you could clearly see my Glock on my hip, and then the other 3, either they didn't like my camera. And another, the last polling station I went to is when they actually finally, a cop mentioned it. He said to me, and there's a key factor in all this, okay, is that half of these polling stations were schools. 2 of them, 4 out of the 6 I went to were schools. 2 of them were private, were like Christian schools, and then 2 of them were public schools. One of the public schools, it was amazing. The moderator of the polling station was, very welcoming. He understood that what I was doing, and he was great. But the last one I went to,
Yeah.
I never even talked to the moderator, but when I walked into the door, some lady reacted. It's like, "Oh, you're gonna bring a gun into a school? That's that's why we have cops, you asshole, right?"
Yeah.
And I was like, "Oh, okay." And so I followed her out. So she was leaving. I didn't like get too close to her. I was probably like 15 feet away, and she just was having her moment to say something to me. And then as I walked back into the school, the cop, before I got in the doors, the cop was like, "You can't bring a gun to the school." I was like, "Oh yeah, watch me." And I just opened the doors, walked in, and you know what he's doing? He's scrambling, calling the station, seeing what's up, and then he got schooled by his colleagues, his superior or whatever.
Well.
And I look up all these laws before I go in. I call it auditing, right? First audits.
Well, you don't want to do something that makes gun owners look bad. You know what I mean? So
no.
Yeah, you better know what the laws are before you do stuff like that.
Absolutely, and actually, because these schools were considered polling stations, it is now open to the public, and the public laws are in place. Actually, according to the laws in New Hampshire, the only people that can't bring a gun to schools are pupils of the schools. So you can't be like a student and bring a gun to school unless you have prior permission from the superintendent. That's what the law reads.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I have no reason to go into public schools, and I wouldn't do it to try to challenge this. It's not like I don't want to do that, but it's because it's a polling station, then I'm going to challenge it. But there was one location where I was open carrying, and actually the head of the DOJ confronted me about it. It was not about open carrying, but filming in the station. But one of the poll volunteers had assaulted me, and he's like, I was like, "Don't assault me." He's like, "What are you gonna do? Shoot me with your gun?" And I was like, I hope nothing ever comes to the point where I'd have to use my gun.
Yeah.
I'm not pulling my gun or anything like that. This is like a simple assault, like unwanted touch, if anything. But then I read a few days later, I got a link from my friend saying that I was being investigated. It was a local news outlet saying I was being investigated by the AG for open carrying in the polling station.
Yeah.
And it was silly because they don't even the news reporter didn't even know the law.
That's the New Hampshire Attorney General.
Yes, that's correct. And I shit you not when I say this, is that the DOJ's name, the guy that showed up to try to get me out of the polling station, his name was Dick Tracy, Richard Tracy, Dick Tracy.
Yeah, of course it was. I would be like, yeah, I believe that.
Well, he physically intimidated me. He tried to walk through my path. And he also wouldn't read the rules, which I had in my hand, which was given to me by the moderator.
Yeah.
Well, actually, the city clerk showed up first, and he came to harass me too. But I had the rules in my hand, and Dick Tracy did not want to read the rules. I eventually get him to read the rules, and he couldn't do anything because now he knows the rules. Ironically, if you had any complaints about the election at all, he's the guy you complain to.
Yeah.
So who do I complain to? I filed a complaint against him for physical intimidation and being crass. And crass is, openly being ignorant to what you're trying to say. And I would love for people, if you guys are interested in watching it, but it's amazing that they would further investigate me. If they were actually going to, arrest me and charge me, that it would have already happened. So I know it's not going to happen now. But it was a fascinating moment, and I open carry everywhere I go.
Yeah.
Everywhere, and everyone is very polite to me.
I have
It's not that I'm intimidating to do that. I just feel like, it levels the playing field, and that everyone understands that, this guy has this upper hand, and everyone else should be having that upper hand too. And I think we have a peaceful society when people are armed.
Yeah, I have a video on this page in case you haven't seen it. It's called The First Time I Got High, or Why I Hope You Will Support Open Carry. So if you want to see an interesting monologue, it's different. Conflicting things there. But I really think that open carry is important. We were discussing this the other day. Let's say that some guy is open carrying, on his hip, and at a coffee shop. He's sitting at the bar at a coffee shop, and he's just enjoying his cheeseburger and, Coke. And some guy walks in with the intention of robbing the place, right? He walks in and looks around, and the first thing he sees is a person standing there with a gun, right? And I don't think that you're going to want to rob the place then, you know what I mean? That's a major deterrent.
I just do that very cartoony look of him walking in, then just turning around and walking right back out.
Yeah.
See, I have another video on my channel, and that's... I went into a bar, which is really funny because the bar owner doesn't like me, but I just kind of challenge it anyways.
What is your channel? What is your channel?
That's Breaking the Flaw, FLAW.
Cool.
I'll just bump the chat real quick so you all see my name there.
Cool.
But one of the things is that, excuse me, is I went to this club, and they were checking, they're telling people to raise their arms up, and they're looking at their waist and make sure they're not, concealing a gun or anything. I'm open carry.
Yeah.
Right? And me and my friends, we're kind of maybe a little nerdy or something, and we don't look like the aggressive type that usually goes to this bar or whatever. And this is the biggest bumping bar in Manchester, New Hampshire. It's called Panucci's, whatever. And there's always fights that break out there, and sometimes there has been shootings near right outside there. But anyways, I go into the bar. I don't drink while I'm what I'm carrying. But I got a sparkling water, and I'm just chilling, just sipping on my sparkling water. Then all of a sudden, they turn the lights on. That they're playing music to kick us out and everything like that. And I left that music on my channel when I went live. When I static recorded. Sorry, I wasn't live at this point, but I started recording because they're kicking us out. But at the doors, the security, the bouncers, were preventing us from leaving because there was a gun threat outside.
Huh.
I know that these bouncers don't carry guns.
Yeah.
I'm the only one in the bar carrying with, a level-headed mind.
Right.
Knows his rights, knows how to use his gun, and there's threats of a, possible shooting outside. So I feel like, holy shit, I don't want to be this guy, but if anything were to go down, I'm going to defend this whole club of people. And I didn't want it to come to that point. Thank God it didn't.
Yeah.
And then I live stream outside. I did my cop walking outside, and while open carrying. So I'm amongst all these people in the crowd, and cops are right there. I'm asking for their names and badge numbers. They had no problem with me open carrying, and it was really, I felt secure. I felt safe, and because I was carrying. If I wasn't carrying and this was going down outside and bullets are flying through, right? Shit, I don't feel good. I feel really unsafe. So I find it like, there could be a moment in everyone's life that you're going to need it. Because people are going to get guns one way or another. I like to say, criminals for gun control. Only criminals like gun control.
Right. I hear you. Look, I love open carry because I think it's a huge crime deterrent, and I really would like it if a lot of people would consider it more because, it's just if you're standing in an ATM line, right, behind like 4 or 5 people, just standing there calmly, the person that's thinking about robbing the people at the ATM are not gonna fucking do that if you're standing there with a gun on your hip, or over your shoulder.
I think one of the problems is that you're trying to pull fiat currency out, but reality is that people should be using Bitcoin or crypto. People should be using cryptocurrencies because that's way safer than having your money in the banks. Because that's just my opinion. I noticed.
What happens if we wake up tomorrow and there's no internet?
That's a good. I have a backup plan too. I have gold. I have silver. These are really good alternatives, and not only that, but bullets are going to be bullets and seeds in your garden. These are going to be the trade items one day, or a food supply. That's going to be a really good trade. Cigarettes, alcohol. I hate to say, but those things everyone's going to always want.
Cannabis, man.
Cannabis. Yep.
I'm going to be sitting on huge piles of hash. You want something? I'm fucking hungry. Bring me a steak.
It's not the most practical thing, in my opinion, to have cannabis, but I mean, people need it as a medicine and that sort of thing. But I think diversification of things is good to store. That way, the person that you want their product of, the person that has a product that you want, and they don't want, say, cannabis, they don't want alcohol, they want cigarettes, but they want bullets or seeds. What I'm saying? There's different. The diversity of things that they can choose from. I think barter is going to be the solution. I don't think the internet's going to go down.
I keep wondering what would happen if we woke up tomorrow and there was no internet, because I think a lot of people would die the first day, not from being in the hospital or whatever, but because they couldn't access their phone and shit. It would make them go insane.
Solution to if the grid internet goes down, I'm not talking about solar flare, okay? That's a different story. But I'm saying if let's say the government shut the internet down, there is a solution, and it's called mesh networking, where we can use this interconnecting system. Actually, phone lines, the old phone line systems, are a great way to transmit data. You don't need you can basically use your own electricity to send out a signal through the phone line. So don't remove these from your homes. And you could easily send encrypted messages through phone lines, or through cell phones. If let's just say the cell phone towers will go down, or even that. There's a really cool app. I'm not advertising, but there's a really cool app. It's called Briar, BRIAR, and what this is for is say the internet goes down, and that you have at least you can have connection through Bluetooth and Wi-Fi to make communication data. And this allows a mesh networking. So let's just say that you're in a city and a bunch of people have Briar. You can basically send a message to someone on the other side of the city. You might be able to connect with them directly, but there's enough people on Briar to make those connections for you. So this is a way that we can continue to communicate. And I also like analog radios. So everyone should be getting some analog radios. Get the Baofeng radios. Whatever it takes, guys. They could just shut down internet in your area for a moment, for a few hours.
Or there could be some kind of EMP thing,
Yeah, I don't really think it's ever going to get to that point. If it is, that's a real hard hit, direct war type scenario. I don't think I think it's always going to be this trickle effect of our rights being taken away.
Yeah.
And I don't think they slowly taking away certain things, certain rights away when it comes to the internet and what we can do. But we all know about the Tor network. We all know about even the old school IRC chat. Remember that?
Yeah.
Well, you can set up your own server at home and broadcast your own server, and that people can chat amongst it. And if you're on the Mastodon network, you can link your Mastodon server networking to other Mastodon network servers, so that way we can communicate. There is solutions out there, and I believe that our future is in our hands, not in these big tech hands, not in the government. If we keep depending on them, it's gonna be we're gonna be dependent.
I agree. It's well, I don't want to say that it's in our hands. I think that our future could be in our hands, except for we give it away to politicians and these big tech people and let them make our future. And they have really shitty ideas for our future, in case you don't know. But if we were to come together somehow, we could make whatever future we want. The problem is we gave that power away, and we're so fucking caught up in other shit we don't even realize it. Go ahead.
Have you heard of LBRY Library or the front website Odyssey? Have you heard of that?
I haven't been to them, but I think I've been to the library site.
Okay, so so library is where you want to sign up, and Odyssey is just kind of like uses the library algorithm to be able to broadcast. So it's more. So if you're like, let's just say you're on library and you're watching someone's original content, original footage, you're going to be watching a high quality no matter what. You don't have a choice. The Odyssey allows you to choose like a lower quality if you have you're just running on your cell phone or whatever, right? But when you use library, you're helping the algorithm as well. So you're helping the blockchain. They use NFTs, non-fungible tokens, to run it, and you can tip the people. It's just like YouTube, right?
Mm-hmm.
But so what I would suggest for you, especially if you've ever had any videos taken down for copyright violations or whatever, whenever you have a video up and it's happening, it gets killed by YouTube, right?
Yeah.
It will automatically be on Odyssey. It would on library. It would automatically always be on there, and they can never take it down. So, and also,
you mean if I upload it there?
That, you're earning.
You mean if I upload it there, or how would it automatically be on their page?
There's an option on the library website that you can sync your account. So it's going to sync all of your videos onto your channel. But
it's
going to be permanently there.
Forever. I have 50,000 videos that YouTube has deleted. So. Mm-hmm. So, is it possible to upload them to this place, library?
You'll have to re-upload them to library. It won't sync the ones that already been taken down. But for the future, if anything gets taken down as they had happened, they're going to be on Odyssey. They can't remove it from there.
I'm just asking if I can upload to these servers that you're talking about, and yeah. I'll have to check it out, see what's going on there.
I really suggest it, and what's really great about it is it's New Hampshire people doing it.
Right on.
And I actually know the owner, the creator of Library, and he's a great guy. He's pro freedom. He's pro gun. He's he's non-censorship. I mean, you can upload just about anything to their site. I mean, I'm not suggesting uploading porn, but they do allow it. They're not going to censor it. Actually, once it's on there, it's stuck on the blockchain. You've helped the blockchain by uploading a video.
Yeah.
And just know that it's within your hands. It's your responsibility. So be careful what you do.
Well, what's the upload? If I go to upload a video, what's the upload like? I mean, is it pretty fast, or is it going to take a while, or?
I would say it's just the same amount as YouTube. Maybe quicker, because YouTube uses all different kinds of algorithms to read it while it's uploading.
Yeah.
Whatever, but
right. No, that's good, because I have, like I said, 50,000 videos to upload. Some of them are more than 5 hours long.
Yeah. No, this will all stay up there.
Good.
And one of the big things about Library is that it has a lot of crypto information, probably more so than YouTube at this point. And it's unbelievable. They just surpassed the 1 million channels, so they have over 1 million channels on their on their site. And
Awesome.
If anyone listening too, you can go on there and just basically make it a full-time job and start subscribing to as many people as you want following. We call it following. And as you're following, you're actually earning token, the library token. So you're actually earning just from being on it. You're doing them a service by just being on there, liking videos, sharing. This helps the algorithm. Whereas YouTube, they manipulate the algorithms, right? So if they don't like your topic or they don't like who you are or what your channel's about, they'll just prevent you from being seen.
Right.
But if you're popular enough, it's going to rise to the top. That's how it works. That's how it's supposed to be, right? Maybe that's what YouTube used to be. And it'll never be changed. I tell you that. It'll never change.
Right on.
That'll always be the system.
Well, I will definitely take a look at that. What's your name?
Breaking the Flaw.
Breaking the Flaw. All right, I'm going to call you Flaw if you don't want to tell me your name.
Hey, everyone calls me Flaw.
Okay, good. It's nice to hear from you, and I really appreciate the conversation. I hope you'll call back soon. Look up that video I was talking about, First Time I Got High, or why I hope you support open carry laws.
I promise I'll watch it if it's on Odyssey. I promise I'll watch it on
Well, I don't know if it's on this page. It's oh, there you go. All right, so it's good to hear from you. I got to take a break, and I look forward to talking again sometime soon.
Okay, man.
All right.
Stay free.
All right. New Hampshire, the live free or die state. Can't go wrong, baby. All right, so I need to go heat up my tea. And I have a couple of videos here. I think we'll play the one about I'm going to play the fucking one about Kamala Harris's polls. All right, Kamala Harris's polls are in the dumper. I was talking about her in the beginning of the show. She during her presidential run in 2020, she could not achieve 1% of the African American voters' support. So we're clear on exactly who Kamala Harris really is.
But first, President signed his $1.2 trillion infrastructure plan today. The bill passed, as you might remember, with 19 Republican senators and 13 Republican House members. Some of them were there today to celebrate. It includes over $500 billion in new spending projects like roads, bridges, broadband. Also, there's some more questionable spending, like pumping another $66 billion into Amtrak. News of the bill's passing did little to help the president's approval numbers, which sit around those of his predecessor. The only person less popular in D.C. than President Biden is his vice president, who is under 28%. No other vice president in history has been so disliked. Nobody. Which is what makes today's news cycle so bizarre. On a day when the White House should be singularly focused on celebrating their first win since July 4th, Press Secretary Jen Psaki threw a wild pitch last night with this tweet. For anyone who needs to hear it, the vice president is not only a vital partner to the president, but a bold leader who has taken on key important challenges facing the country. It sparked a fury of calls from editors to reporters interrupting Sunday night dinner and Sunday night football watching. What on earth was this about? Certainly for the press secretary to issue such an unusual statement, something must be going on. Turns out the tweet was because of this Sunday afternoon article on CNN Digital that nobody was talking about. But now they are. The headline, Exasperation and Dysfunction Inside Kamala Harris's Frustrating Start as Vice President. Quote from the article, many in the vice president's circle fume that she's not being adequately prepared or positioned and instead is being sidelined. Some think it's the president himself leaving her out in the cold, prioritizing his own agenda. Some blame specific West Wing aides whom they feel sure are out to undercut her. Again, the story isn't about Harris's abysmal approval ratings or the Biden White House blame game, but why? Why draw attention to the least popular part of your administration when trying to celebrate a win? Chris Steyerwalt knows a thing or two about how to celebrate a win because he's covered a number of them. Longtime political reporter, columnist, now senior fellow at AEI. Good to see you, Chris. If Psaki's tweet was true, would she have needed to say it?
Well, I mean, there's true and then there's true. The number one thing you want from a vice president is to do nothing. The best thing that a vice president can do is be no one should think about the vice president, and that's pretty much how you want it. It's great if the vice president can do what people like Dick Cheney, what Joe Biden, what some others have done, which is help you with your base or a part of your political coalition that maybe you don't connect well with. Joe Biden did that. But Kamala Harris is not a good politician. She is not good at this. Her presidential campaign demonstrated that she's not good at this. She's not competent at politics, and certainly on the policy stuff. The places where Biden tried to put her forward, border crisis and other things, she did not seem to deliver results or at least the appearance of them. So then what you want from your vice president is to do nothing. Don't be a problem, right? This is Al Gore, George H.W. Bush. History has a lot of potted plant vice presidents. But what do you do if you have a vice president who you need to be a potted plant, but that person wants to play an active role? Let's say this person is thinking about maybe they're going to be running for president in 2024. Maybe they're just feeling bad that people dislike or ignore them. And then you've got to do something to calm them down. I read that tweet as an effort to calm down Harris and her team.
Yeah, and then we saw this today on the South Lawn of the White House. The Daily Mail called it the Hugathon, I believe is how they viewed it. But their headline was, hug it out, bro it out, on and on. Kamala Harris saying, oh, thank you, Mr. President. Biden saying, oh, thank you to the vice president, on and on. I guess it goes back to this. If your approval numbers were in the 60, best of frenemies is how they headlined. Joe and Kamala put on cringeworthy united front in bid to quash CNN claims of major rift. VP gushing thanks to Mr. President on behalf of the nation. Those words would almost make Mike Pence blush.
And that would be a lot.
Yeah.
That would be a lot.
That would be sucking up in a new way.
No offense to, I'm sure, the Daily Mail's deep understanding of the functioning of the West Wing. I kid. What do you do when you are in this situation? If you telegraph publicly, we are united, then people say, oh, see, that's further evidence of a problem. But if you don't do anything, then what are they going to say? Well, that's further evidence of a problem, because that's the parlor game in Washington.
Yeah, it makes an interesting point, though. If they were at 60% approval ratings, right, and things were just humming along, would this story have happened?
Well, this is a story we love. We always love the Washington press corps loves this story. At any point where you can find the friction, if there's problems inside the administration, that's just catnip. And what you read in Politico and what you've seen other places is the frustration, understandable frustrations among an ambitious vice president and her ambitious team that want her to be more and do more, even though she's demonstrated that she's not really an asset. She has not delivered on the things that Biden had hoped that she might. And when you get to that point, if you can't find a way to placate her, if you can't find a way so that she will be okay, then you go into an isolation phase. And if you get into that part, then, and this will depend on the decency and patriotic attitude of the vice president, the possibility exists that they will continue to feed into that narrative, and it will continue to be part of this. This is a long-term problem for Joe Biden that is rooted in the fact that it is unclear by a long shot that he will be the Democratic Party's nominee in 2024, and that is the underpinning for all of this.
Well, and the underpinning of their relationship did not start well. We all remember this from the then Democratic nominee debate back at the beginning of the race. Take a listen.
It was hurtful to hear you talk about the reputations of two United States senators who built their reputations and career on the segregation of race in this country. And it was not only that, but you also worked with them to oppose busing.
Yeah, I can't imagine there's a lot of trust between them in a real sense.
Well, I think you can trust with Kamala Harris that she will say whatever she thinks it is that she thinks she needs to say to get ahead. Again, her career has been marked by this. Ambition is a good thing. Mr. Madison's system relies on the ambition of politicians. But remember, she said that, and then she said the other thing. And she said she was for universal single-payer health care. Then she was against it. She was for the Green New Deal. She was against it. She is nothing if not accommodating in her worldview. The problem is she just isn't good at it, right? The problem is that she has never lived up to her potential, and she has turned into a drag for Biden, who doesn't need any more drags. But what do you do about a problem like Kamala, right? What are you supposed to do now? And there just aren't any easy answers because you're lashed to this person for the next 3 years.
Well, not only that, but your agenda that you're trying to get through, conceivably she could have been a big help with lobbying fellow senators during both Build Back Better and bipartisan infrastructure. Clearly that didn't deliver there, didn't deliver with the progressive caucuses. Still, though, Jen Psaki today put on a brave face. Not only did we have the tweet last night, it's been a day-long cleanup on aisle Kamala Harris-Joe Biden relationship. Take a listen.
I went out there and made clear that the vice president's a vital partner. She's a bold leader, and she's taken on some challenging assignments, really important ones.
I guess the bigger question is, to your point, who really cares from the White House's perspective how happy the vice president is? Why bother?
Oh, man, if she's not happy, then you've got a big problem because there's going to be more leaks. There's going to be more frustration. There's going to be more backbiting. And it becomes a worse and worse problem. So you've got to find a way to do it. It's not a surprise that people in Washington today are talking about maybe they'll appoint her to the Supreme Court if a vacancy comes available because they got to do something. I doubt that's what she really want to do. I bet she still thinks that she might be president. But you got to do something with this person whose ambition does not match their talents.
Supreme Court Justice Kamala Harris is perhaps nothing anyone had on their 2021 or 2022 bingo card. Chris, good to see you, my friend.
You bet.
Yeah, thank you. Now on to what the Biden administration wants everybody to be talking about today. Here's the president taking a victory lap a little earlier.
The bill I'm about to sign along is proof that despite the cynics, Democrats and Republicans can come together and deliver results. We can do this. We can deliver real results for real people. And we're taking a monumental step forward to build back better as a nation.
We're going to hear a lot about Build Back Better as Vice President Kamala Harris, who we were just talking about, came back from a rather uneventful trip to Paris over the weekend and promised, as the president just did, that this was the beginning, not the end, of remaking America's social contract.
Now, this bill, as significant as it is, as historic as it is part one of two. To lower costs and cut taxes for working families, to tackle the climate crisis at its core, Congress must also pass the Build Back Better Act.
Why do you think people despise that woman so much? I mean, it's not like she bombed Iraq based on lies and murdered a million innocent Iraqis. It's not because she dated Montel Williams and then busted a bunch of people for weed. Montel Williams being the top spokesman for medical cannabis and cannabis legalization for quite some period of time. So, I mean, why is it that Kamala Harris is so despised by the public in general? Is it just because she's hanging out with Joe Biden? Or it's because she's such a two-faced person? She calls Joe Biden a racist during the primary in front of everyone, and then she stands next to him. It's because she's so hypocritical. I mean, what is the deal here? Numbers right there on the screen. I needed that. That's right. Kamala Harris dated Montel Williams. What's up, buddy? And Craig is supposed to be putting up a fucking picture. Montel Williams being one of the biggest cannabis advocates during like the 90s, I think. Is that right? Especially for medical cannabis. And here Kamala Harris, is hanging out with him. Apparently they're dating. Meanwhile, she's busting people and putting people in jail for cannabis violations. So, I don't know. Is it just the hypocritical thing? Because I think that she's, this giant two-faced person who, says one thing over here and says another thing over here. But what politician isn't like that, So, dog loves weed. That dog eats more weed than 99% of the population on the planet. That dog eats more weed than 99% of the population on the planet. So he's got that going for him, which is nice. Huh, boo-boo? Huh, boo-boo? What's happening? There's stuff happening on my screen over here. I think we're going to have to play some more videos because I'm ready for another video. Oh, I have a video about the COVID-19 autopsy that I find really interesting. So, and there is Montel Williams looking like a G with his leather pants and his daughter, and Kamala Harris, who it looks like he's ready to grab what's she wearing, like a slip or something? She looks like she's wearing a slip, like you'd wear under a dress, So, apparently, according to the DMZ, demilitarized zone, nope, not DMZ, TMZ, Kamala Harris and Montel Williams were dating, which is interesting for the whole hypocritical thing. But other than that, just I can't. I mean, this person is so despised, right? She is so despised. I just, is it her fake laugh, or what do you think it is? I'm really confused. I'm not really confused. I mean, I despise all of these people. like, this 28% support is like, I don't know how any of them get more than 10% support. It would lead me, again, I know exactly how any of them get more than 10% of the support is, again, because the polls are easily skewed. They do telephone polls, and they ask you qualifying questions at first. Do you watch CNN? Do you read the New York Times? Do you, do you buy this kind of product? I don't know. But this is how they figure out whether or not they want you to take the poll, so that the poll will be skewed the direction they want it to be, which is probably the way that all politicians get better than a 10% approval rating, right? Hello, caller.
What's up, Mark? It's Brandon.
Hey, B, it's good to hear from you, man.
Oh yeah, man. Hit you up to see how our weekend was. That little Cat Williams thing.
Right on. I was wondering. Yeah, I was going to ask you. I was thinking about you on Saturday. Go ahead.
He was, you know what? He had like some old school lineups in front of him. So it was a real good show, and back at the end of the show, he wasn't doing nothing but dropping the P word.
Well,
which I don't want to give his jokes away because he's on his little 100 city tour or whatever. But yeah, it was a good show. We had a good time.
I'm sure. It sounds like a lot of fun, actually.
Oh yeah, man. Like we Ubered there and we Ubered back.
Nice.
Yeah, it was pretty good. Can't complain. But you know what I will say? This Kamala Harris thing. I see a lot of people bitching about her and stuff. But I don't like. Typically, even when I was in the military, we never heard anything about what the vice president said,
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah.
And I think it's just that's the vice president's job,
Right.
or whatever. Like Pence was supposed to have been in charge of, the pandemic, but every day Trump briefed about it because he wanted his 5 minutes of fame or whatever every fucking day in the cameras. But
I don't think necessarily that's what it was, B. I think that he didn't like what the people were trying to say. He wanted to put his own message out there. It's like why they stopped the the daily press briefings at the White House. Trump did it for I don't know, like 8 months or something, 6 months, I think. And then
I think until the end.
Yeah, they just stopped.
Yeah.
And it was because no one could get his messaging right because he's all over the place. So
yeah, that is one problem.
Yeah.
To be honest, Mox, that like the progressive have, like Bernie Sanders. If you really listen to what Bernie Sanders is saying, it makes sense.
Yeah.
But his messaging scares people. If that makes any sense to you.
Well, once you get it filtered through the news, it can be pretty scary, right?
Yeah.
I think that most people don't take the time to listen to, a 30-minute, Bernie Sanders speech or whatever. So most people don't really realize where he's coming from. Although this whole thing with, we got to support Hillary now, really, really let a lot of people down, dude. B?
Yeah, I'm here.
Yeah, I mean, he had a huge grassroots movement in 2016, gigantic, like the Democrats needed desperately, and then they pulled shenanigans to make Hillary Clinton the nominee because it was her turn, and they lost terribly against Donald Trump, which is hilarious. So, and a big part of why they lost is because instead of taking this grassroots movement that they needed desperately, they fucking shit on them by Bernie Sanders jumping on the Hillary bandwagon, and then there's all these people who actually believe in a real politician, and they go, oh no, he's just another one of them.
Exactly. Yes. Yeah. But maybe, check this out, maybe there was an inside deal to where if Hillary would have won, what position would Bernie have politically? And maybe that's the reason why he did it. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, but I hear you. I understand. I understand what...
I'm pretty sure he was offered something, some form of policy that he was going to be really recognized for, which is obviously affordable health care or something like that, right? Or $15 hours, right?
Yeah.
But when his people didn't show up and they went to Trump, that could have burst some. I don't know, man. It's weird, like how 2 or 3 people in a smoky room really make decisions for the country. Which is ridiculous. Were a family of 4 in a single wide, on the side of a mountain in Tennessee or West Virginia don't have no say-so. It's fucking absurd, man. It's sad, too. It really is.
And this is what I was saying earlier, is I don't know how we get these fucked up people. I don't know if it's just fucked up people are the ones drawn to this kind of power, or, because I know that there's so many good people out there in our country. And so many great, great people. And somehow we wind up with this fucking garbage. Donald Trump, Joe Biden, give me a fucking break. God just makes me want to puke until I die. Yeah, go ahead.
But what's sad is the disagreement that either one of them ever should have been president. I mean, they're not capable of leading a platoon
Right.
to a police call in the rain, much less leading the fucking country.
Yeah.
I mean, Trump don't want to get his hair wet. He's not going to go outside, okay? And but what I'm getting at is that we have really just became. The only reason why Trump became president, Miles, was because he was entertaining. He wasn't boring.
Well,
and people just would come home and say, "I'm tired of the same TV shows."
Well,
and they would just watch the news all day.
Well,
and it would be that cycle, and everybody made money. Everybody made money, right? And then they turned this. And then that led to people falling victims because their lives suck.
Look, the reason
My
that
life don't suck. I don't watch the news.
yeah, I agree, dude. I think I've said to people 100 times on my YouTube pages, don't watch the news. It's bad for you, and I'm fucking serious. Okay, I've watched tens of thousands of hours of news, if not a whole lot more, during my YouTube career, and I can tell you the news is very, very bad for you, and you shouldn't watch it. And by that I mean you shouldn't sit and watch it for hours. You know, you get little clips and you go, hey, you look up what you're interested in. You don't need these people to tell you what you're supposed to be viewing or what you're interested in knowing, you know? The people on the TV are horrible.
Oh, yeah, man, but it just consumes people's whole entire life to where, you know, you can walk your dog and walk by someone's house and look in the window and see if they're watching Fox or whatever, CNN or whatever, and immediately never talk to your neighbor again. It's fucking ridiculous.
Yeah, I don't care. You know, I mean, they're the same to me. So I'm going to talk to all I'm going to talk to all my neighbors. And it's not. I don't really care what their politics are at all. I could give a fuck. You know, I could go out tomorrow and this fucking, you know, Republican could tell me all the things that are wrong with the, you know, because the Democrats are in charge. And then I could go and see this Democrat and they could say all this shit's fucked up because of Donald Trump. You know, just go, you people are fucking crazy. But I keep talking to them and smiling at them and asking them, you know, what's going on. Because I don't want to, because that's the neighborhood I want to live in. I want to live in a friendly place where people say hi to each other. I can't stand it, man, when nobody says hi to each other. Really, it's like, what is wrong with this place?
Well, everyone's tensed up, boss. You know, that's all. But yeah, Mox, I just want to hit you up, man, and shoot. I still got to send y'all that video, okay?
Which one?
Oh
yeah, Ty.
I was in the news.
Yeah, Ty. That's awesome. I do that. That'd be great.
All right, brother. Well, take care, man.
Okay, tell Ty Mike says hi.
I sure will, Mike.
All right, have fun. See you later. That's our buddy, too, Bronze Star Brandon. And he's a great guy, and I think we're really lucky to have us on our team. So we got that going for us, which is nice. I watched this new Netflix movie last night. It's called Red something. I don't know. It's got Dwayne Johnson in it and Gal Gadot and Ryan Reynolds. And if you like Ryan Reynolds, I mean, he kind of plays the same character all the time. You know, this really crass person who's just ready to, like, not take anything serious. If you like Ryan Reynolds, you'll love the movie. If you like Gal Gadot, maybe you like the movie. If you like Dwayne Johnson, you probably like the movie. But it was one of those spy mysteries that just kept you guessing the whole time. And I guessed wrong every time. Fuck. All right, so if you're looking for that on the Netflix, you have the Netflix. It was okay. And I watched Donnie Yen's new movie last night, Raging Fire. 93% on the Rotten Tomatoes. It's a fucking garbage movie. It's horrible. Now, that being said, in a Donnie Yen movie, I'm looking for hand to hand, and I just didn't see it there. You know, I didn't see the choreography being worthwhile. It was so bad. I shut it off. I don't think I've ever shut off a Donnie Yen movie, but I shut it off. It was just like, ugh. And after I asked my friend to pirate it for me, I feel so bad. Go break the law for me so I can watch this movie. Did I mention all my friends are pirates? And I wouldn't have it any other way. I've never paid for software, ever. And let's see what else. I've actually never paid for a computer except for one laptop, which I immediately gave to my mom. Do you have any idea how much stuff I've made happen, never once buying a computer? What a life. What a life. So let's see, what shall we do? I guess we can play another video because I have prepared them. Okay, so I have one about an autopsy being done on a person that died from COVID, and the body has apparently disappeared, and they question the safety procedures, protocols during the autopsy. So if you're squeamish about autopsy, this clip's for you.
Where is the body? That is the question a Louisiana widow is asking after she learned of her husband's public autopsy.
This is just the latest revelation in a King 5 investigation that does contain some graphic content. And even though we have blurred out shots of the body, the story may not be suitable for everybody. The autopsy happened in front of a live paying audience here in the Northwest. Yesterday, we made contact with the widow of the deceased. He was a World War II veteran from Louisiana. His family had no idea what his body was being used for. Here's King 5 investigator Chris Ingalls.
The various parties behind this autopsy event in Portland last month are now pointing fingers of blame at each other. But in the middle of it all is 92-year-old Elsie Saunders of Baton Rouge, Louisiana, who thought her husband was donating his body to science.
I had a brother.
Just one?
And he got killed during the war.
This is military veteran David Saunders, interviewed by the National World War II Museum in Louisiana before he died in August of this year. But it's what happened after his death that some people consider an atrocity.
It makes me really feel saddened that this gentleman was not given the dignity and the respect that he deserved and what he thought and his family thought that would be happening to his body.
Funeral director Mike Clark of Baton Rouge handled the preparation of Mr. Saunders' body as it was handed off to a private company that his family thought would use his corpse for medical research.
This is somebody that donated their body to science.
Instead, Mr. Saunders ended up in this Portland Marriott ballroom, the centerpiece of an autopsy and dissection before a live paying audience, an event that we exposed in a story last week. Word of the story reached a group of Louisiana funeral directors this week who notified Mike Clark. What did you think?
I was totally horrified. Our whole staff was horrified that this is what had happened to a gentleman that he and his family thought that his body was going for the advancement of medical students.
Clark said MedEd Labs, a Las Vegas company that solicits body donations purportedly for medical and science research, never told him or the family that Mr. Saunders' remains would be used in such a manner.
We have ceased all work with MedEd Labs.
Jeremy, I want to be crystal clear about this point. Did that man or his family know that he would be part of an event where tickets were sold to the public and he would be on public view? Did he know that?
Yes, that was in the contract.
But the event's organizer, Jeremy Siliberto, told us in an interview that aired last week that the donor and his family did give consent.
I can guarantee that he knew his body would be used for medical education
There's another disturbing piece of information about what happened in this hotel ballroom. David Saunders, who lived to age 98, died of COVID according to his death certificate, meaning a potentially infectious body was dissected at this event in which people were invited to examine and touch the body.
So what do you think? We have a man who died from COVID who's in a hotel ballroom being autopsied. What do you think about that?
I think it is beyond imagination. It is not conceivable that this would happen to him.
So where is Mr. Saunders' body? A funeral home in Louisiana believes that it is with MedEd Labs in Las Vegas. That funeral home is making arrangements to fly him home and cremate him, all free of charge to Mrs. Saunders. As far as the public health aspects of this, we got a hold of this email tonight from deathscience.org, the organizer, notifying the 40 or so attendees at that event that they should probably get COVID tests because the body of Mr. Saunders was, quote, reportedly COVID infected. I'm Chris Ingalls in the King 5 newsroom.
All right, I'm going to have a bong hit here. It's just a sec. I thought it was interesting that he said that this 98-year-old person, according to the death certificate, died from COVID. Now, that seems like, you just say died from COVID, but if you don't want to be responsible for that information, you say, according to the death certificate, it says, right? So I find that wording fairly interesting. I'm going to have a bong hit, and we got Chris from Olympia on the phone. So what's up, Chris?
Hey, Mike. Hope you're having a good night tonight. Did it rain up there today? It was really windy down here. Very, very windy.
What's up, buddy? That was a good one. All right. Yes, it rained here today. We were getting ready to go for a walk. I thought we had a few minutes to go out and get a poopy, but we were waiting. By the time I got his collar on, it was just dumping rain. So
yeah, well, actually, it broke today around midday, like around 1 o'clock in the afternoon, 12 in the afternoon. It broke, but we had probably, without exaggerating, about 6 inches of rain in the last week. A lot of rain, and also it was high winds earlier today, so like the power was out in a big part of Olympia or Lacey, Washington. A lot of power was out, and it kind of brought me back to that conversation we had last week about what would life be like if there was no power or there was no internet, as a hypothetical.
Yeah.
And I remember in 2010 or 2011. Being here during a snowstorm, and we got like 12 inches of wet snow, and the power went out for about a couple of days in town. And a grocery store literally had the radio station, on the radio station they said, go to the grocery store because they're giving away free food. And I was sitting in a room with some people, and they looked at me like, free food? And we all looked at each other, and we all went to the grocery store. And we went to the grocery store, we saw like 7 checkout lines filled with people, filled with carts, and all of the lines were like 4 deep and people going into the aisles. Meanwhile, the store was filling up with people as everybody was getting all the free frozen food they wanted, period, for free, because there was no power at the grocery store. And we got our ice cream and some food super cheap, like for free, right? And we went home and buried it in the snow because there wasn't any ice, the refrigerator wasn't working, and we were able to use the food for like a couple of days. I think the power came on in a couple of days. But the point being if that grocery store serves like about, I'm going to guess about 20,000 people, something like that, in that area, that neighborhood. And when that grocery store doesn't have food to distribute to people anymore because power is out, and all of our food is in the frozen food section for the most part. A lot of people buy frozen food or food that goes in the refrigerator, perishable food. It just highlights how insecure our whole system is, Mike, because at any moment in time, like what you have at your house, like rice and beans or whatever you have for like dried storage or dried food, that might be the only food you can have, because once there's a run on the grocery store, there isn't any more food at the grocery store. And that is something to think about. And I mean try to think about that just realistically without thinking about, I need a gun. You know what I mean?
I don't need a gun.
I don't need a gun either. But like if everybody had enough food to eat in their house and they had a safe place to go to, we might not need guns. Seems like people use guns a lot, you know, to like, I don't know, assert like their power and their need to like protect their money or protect their stuff or something.
Yeah.
Democrats move to make domestic travel.
Well, let me tell you something about guns. And when I was growing up, my dad had guns, lots and lots of guns in the house. The majority of them were loaded, and one of the reasons that my dad had lots and lots of guns in the house is because my dad killed lots and lots and lots of people. And he was,
right,
and he was
part of his job, right?
Yeah, and he was always very, very concerned that some of those people's families might want to settle the score. So.
Well, if he's thinking that way, he must have done some horrible things, Mike. If he's thinking there's payback, you know what I mean?
He dropped 55-gallon drums of nitroglycerin onto railroad stations.
Yeah, well, whatever. I'm sorry about that. Honestly, I mean that sucks. So he was paranoid when you were growing up.
He wasn't really paranoid. He drank a lot, so he didn't have the, constant, worry. As far as I know.
I had one uncle, Mike, who won the Silver Star. He married my aunt, and he won it in the Black Forest in Germany, pulling people who were wounded behind lines back into the lines.
Yeah.
And I only saw the guy a couple times in my life, but he always had like a mason jar in his hand, and I thought he was just drinking water, and I didn't know until 10 or 15 years, 10 years after that, right, when I met the man a few times, that he was drinking vodka. And it had a lot to do with nulling the pain of the PTSD he experienced when he was watching people's heads blow up right next to him from bullets. So his friend gets hit in the head and his head blows up, and he's like, "What the fuck?" And I do understand like that primordial response, or that response you have to respond and do what you have to do in those situations. But I prefer that those situations don't arise to begin with. So I agree with you and many others, including Jimmy Dore and a lot of other people, that Kyle Rittenhouse probably, as the law states it, defended himself based on the circumstances of what was going on, exactly where he was. And I don't disagree with that. But I do, and I think he has a chance of getting off. And I think that's what the whole deal is about this propaganda campaign that's going on. Is a lot of people have to backpedal right now because they were promoting a story that was false. And they knew it was false because they had the video evidence, but they didn't show their audience the video evidence. And now that it's coming to the fucking day of the decision, they know that what the evidence actually says. And they have to convince their audience that, oh, we made a mistake, maybe, blah, 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 this and that, and this and that. I think that's what we're kind of experiencing right now, Mike. I don't know if you've seen that, but I've seen it.
I just not interested. I haven't watched like 1 minute of conversation about him.
Okay.
I just don't care. Here's everything that I need to know about Kyle Rittenhouse. He's fucking stupid. He's a stupid human being. That's all I need to know about him.
Well, I I've said in other threads, I think this threatens the whole idea of the First Amendment. Like I understand it's in the idea is to protect Second Amendment rights. Hello?
Yeah.
But if you think about it, if everybody goes to a political demonstration like armed, and you have countervailing points of view, and they both show up and they're all fucking armed, as far as I'm concerned, what that means is that the First Amendment in this country is dead, Mike. You can't go to a demonstration unless you have a gun. So what this trial is doing and what all of this media focus is doing is basically scaring people away from nonviolent mass demonstration. Because if you go into the public theater, you can expect to have people who are armed on both sides of the issue. And I don't really think that's healthy for democracy. Like little old ladies and kids and people who aren't interested in guns, like what's going to be their motivation to show up at a place where there could be violence?
Yeah, that's a big part of the propaganda campaign, right? Again, I've pointed out over and over that the people who loot, the people who cause violence, are like 1% of the people who protest. Like pretty much, I guarantee you, 90% of the people that are looting are not part of the protest, right? So I think that the protest is filled with good people trying to do the right thing. This is why I don't think that they're looting. Okay, it's not that hard to figure out. Now, the protests themselves, again, are going to be filled with good people. So it should be safe to bring your child and your grandmother. The likeliness of when you're marching with 10,000 people, some kind of violent event breaking out, I think is minimal, beyond minimal. So I wouldn't let that keep you from attending something that you feel is important.
Well, I've actually been like in 1999 in Seattle for whatever the Battle of Seattle, and that Tuesday I was there in 1999, and I actually had friends from Olympia that I knew there in the crowd. Many friends, but one group of friends in particular was a man and a wife, and they had 2 kids, and one was like about 6 and one was 4. I remember their names, Lennon and Marley. They were pretty cool kids. And my friends, Bob and Helen, said, like, they looked at me and they smiled and they said, well, you know what? They're about ready to burn the dumpsters and the cops are going to break the barricade, so we're leaving. And it was good to see you, Chris, and see you in a couple weeks. Have a good night, and they split.
Yeah.
And I think that's totally fucking reasonable to do, and that's what responsible parents do. But that doesn't mean that.
But this is what I'm saying is that see, it's a teeny tiny percentage of the protesters to start with, and number 2, when the shit's about to go down. So I gotta take the kids home. I gotta take grandma home. I'm not gonna hang out for the bullshit.
At that demonstration, like there were 50,000 people in the streets early in the day, but towards the end of the afternoon, at about 5 in the afternoon, when the lines broke, there were only about 5,000 or 6,000 people, and they were all at the intersections in Seattle when the lines all broke simultaneously. So people did have awareness of what was happening. But I don't know what was happening in Kenosha, Wisconsin, except for the evidence that's been presented in court. That's kind of interesting, which I hadn't been exposed to because of mainstream media bias. And that is fucked up. Like, we didn't get a chance to see the fact that, Antifa and the BLM demonstrators were also armed. And they also were inciting people and so on and so forth. So it creates this idea of a pitched battle. And if it's a pitched battle, I think I'm right. Like, the First Amendment is fucking dead. Because if you go to a demonstration and half the people are waving American flags and supporting the government, and the other half the people are pissed off and they've got legitimate grievances, and they all are armed, I think you got a problem, Like, there's a problem.
The First Amendment died in 2003, dude. During the 2004 election, they put up they put up freedom of speech zones during the campaign conventions.
Yes.
And that basically said you're not allowed to go on the street and hold up signs that say, 9/11 was an inside job in case nobody knows it. And that's what they were, and that's what they were terrified about on 2003. And it's too bad the cocksuckers aren't terrified of that now. Where the fuck you people go?
Well, after 2011, Mike, they also criminalized public encampments, which used to be like in 1990, for example, 1991. I lived in Olympia and protested against the first Iraq War, the Persian Gulf War.
Yeah.
And we had a 30-day encampment in the main public square, like where the old state capitol building was, ongoing. Somebody was there distributing literature, and we had groups of people there and speakers there for 30 days in a row. However, that was very exceptional. It happened in different places, in different circumstances around the country. But after 2011, after the Occupy Wall Street demonstrations, a lot of cities around the United States passed laws preventing people from gathering in parks for more than a day at a time.
And that's not just that's not us losing just the First Amendment. That's losing the right of assembly too, which is incredibly important. You have to understand the reason that we have these rights isn't because the founding fathers gave them to us. The reason that we have these rights is because that's who we are. We're humans. But what the founding fathers did was they said, no one can take these basic things away because this is obvious that this is who humans are. So they gave us with these tools, with the right to assemble, with the right to freedom of speech, right? So we can say what we want about the government. We can gather and protest the government together, and we have the Second Amendment so that we can, we can protect all the other amendments. And also the right against undue search and seizure. All of these things are gone. I mean, they want to pretend like the Second Amendment still exists, and it kind of does, but it's really been eroded like all the other rights just as much every day of the week because we have garbage leaders. Go ahead.
Mike, I'm not saying that I wouldn't pick up a gun under certain circumstances. I'm not taking a strict pacifist line or anything like that, but I do think that having a gun is much more likely to get me into trouble and is much more likely to create a healing death. Like it's an instrument that's designed to do that.
Right. That's why I decided that I didn't want anything to do with guns. I mean, besides the fact that they, as I've said, they stink and they hurt and it's just not fun. So I just decided I don't want anything to do with something that's going to wind up killing someone.
Yeah, I would feel so weird and fucked up about that I don't, and even if I could justify it, if I could say I was right and stuff, Jesus, okay, good for you, Chris.
Yeah.
Really, how right are you? It's like, whoa, and
no,
reality.
I think that's partially what was my dad's problem is that maybe he was right, but because that's what was called on him to do, but like you said, you never kind of get over it. He never. That's what I'm saying is he never got over it, and he used to say, by the way. It's of course he was trying to protect me. He would say that it's not who's right, it's who's left. So, yeah.
I don't think I could ever be like an EMT or a field doctor and work on people who are seriously fucked up, stitching them up in the field. I would have problems with that.
Only if it was like, I could do it, but only if it was like an emergency kind of war zone kind of thing. I wouldn't hesitate, but I couldn't have that as a job.
There were a couple stories real quick besides the gun argument or discussion related to what happened to Rittenhouse. First of all, it seems to be the time of trials because there's another trial coming up in 2 weeks on November 29th, and that's the Ghislaine Maxwell trial.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, And a panel of 12 jurors and 6 alternates are going to be picked starting this week, and they're going to have opening statements on November 29th. Questioning jurors is scheduled on Tuesday, as more than 600 potential jurors are going to be whittled down to 12. And this information is from AlJazeera.com. Maxwell has pleaded not guilty to the charges and has vehemently denied wrongdoing. I have not committed any crime, she said at a recent pretrial conference. She was made to wear shackles coming and going from the courtroom, accentuating the severity of the allegations, although the restraints were gone at a hearing last week. And I guess, I mean, this is just the story from Al Jazeera, but apparently she was actually seen on videotape today. Like, she was at somehow she was seen on videotape. And there's been a lot of discussion about how there was no mugshot of her, and that there have been no photographs of her since she was arrested like last summer.
I think they put a body double in place. Honestly, that's what I believe, and that's why she stayed out of jail all this time instead of like having to be waiting for a trial. Considering she's a high risk fucking person. I think that they found somebody that they could use as a body double, did some plastic surgery, and then schooled her on who this person is over and over again until she got it right, and then there's the trial. I could be wrong, and I have a very vivid imagination, but that's what I think happened.
So there's this question then: is her double, or is Ghislaine Maxwell or her double going to be offered to the gods in the next month, when when a verdict comes in on this whatever trial this fall, which is starting? And it's just interesting. I wonder how much the mainstream media is going to pay attention to this, or whether it's just going to be like, oh, the guy's dead. Oh well, fuck it, who cares?
We'll get a little bit of information from the international news, but my guess is that the mainstream media will stay pretty far away from it. Maybe like a minute and an hour long news thing or something, but they're not going to have a lot to do with it.
I think they're going to stay away from it as well. One other article, Mike, and this is from Indiana, and it's from StopTheDrugWar.org. It says, the Indiana Democratic Party calls for marijuana legalization. The Indiana Democratic Party announced its full support for marijuana legalization and called on the General Assembly to get the job done. They called on Governor Eric Holcomb, a Republican, to rescind his opposition to legalization. Bills to legalize marijuana have so far gone nowhere in the Republican-dominated legislature, but the Democrats said legalization would provide the opportunity to create an additional revenue stream for the state, create good-paying jobs, develop a long-term cash crop for Indiana's agriculture and business communities, provide medicinal opportunities for people like state veterans and seniors, and could start the process of expunging records for simple possession across the state of Indiana. So I didn't know if people were aware of that. I wasn't. But the Indiana Democratic Party is endorsing marijuana legalization. And I bet, Mike, I would bet money on this if I had to, is they're doing it because Illinois and Michigan have both decriminalized or legalized marijuana. So people in Indiana can just drive to Illinois or to Michigan and buy their cannabis. So the question is do they want to lose the revenue, or do they want to just keep pretending that people in Indiana don't consume cannabis?
Well, it's not just, that's not the only question. The other questions is, do they want to have a thriving cannabis black market also,
Yeah, I mean, that's true, because they'll just take the product and mark it up 15% and resell it across the border, something like that.
Yeah.
Or they could collect the tax revenue. But regardless, they're paying for all of the police to arrest these people and all of the clerks to keep track of all this information and, all of it, and it's a legitimate argument. It's sad that it isn't a bipartisan issue. It should be a bipartisan issue. And I hope people in Indiana, Republicans in Indiana, start questioning why are they opposed to legalizing cannabis, because it's a legitimate question.
I think a lot of people are beginning to question that. I'll have a story tomorrow about a bill that's about to be introduced by the Republicans, which looks like an amazing legalization bill as far as freedom goes. So we'll see, though.
In the Congress?
Yeah.
Okay, that's encouraging. Just a note, there was a Van Gogh painting that sold for $36 million.
Well, that sounds like a pretty good buy to me, honestly.
Really?
Yeah.
It doesn't even look like a great painting, Mike.
Yeah.
I'm looking at it right now, and it looks like, I think like a 17 or 18-year-old could have done that. Really. I'm serious. I'm not even kidding. But it's $36 million.
I think, well, you know, the Banksy painting that sold at auction and then got shredded immediately upon being sold was then, the shreds now have been sold for twice as much. So.
Yeah. So, what kind of, you know, earlier in the discussion you were talking about how Elon Musk, if he made the right decisions, right, or if he had a conscience, right, like, I think he has $250 billion right now.
Mm-hmm.
But if he had a conscience, like, he could say, I'll just give 25% of my money right now and start, like, addressing this issue of making sure nobody in the world is hungry. Everybody has food to eat right now.
No, save the fucking manatees, goddammit. Go ahead. If you're listening, Elon, have some fucking priorities and save the goddamn manatees, okay? There's gonna be humans however, unless there's a fucking nuclear war or something, there's gonna be humans. The manatees are going away forever unless we do something.
Okay, Mike, I have been to South Florida in the last 10 years, and I don't know what you can do to stop the extinction of the manatees. I'll give you a couple of examples. First of all, I think there's like a nuclear power plant or something near like on the east coast of Florida, south of Cape Canaveral. There's a really large estuary, and there's warm water that exists there. You know, it's warm water.
Yeah.
It's warm. There's also warm water. And then also just the amount of fucking people from Daytona Beach down to whatever, Miami. The amount of people who live there. It's like every person who lives there is another plastic bottle. It's another house on the edge of the water.
No.
It's another, you know.
I get it. I'm saying, you know, look, if you're gonna make a giant difference in the world, there's always gonna be people. And we're gonna lose the manatees. And you can either
They only live in a special place, Mike.
I know this. I know.
Place.
I know. There was these hot springs. I get it. Okay. The thing is you can't give up. Okay. If you just give up, if you just say there's no saving the manatees, then truly there's no saving mankind either.
Oh, okay, I'll give you. I agree with you, Mike. I'm with the ethics. I believe in the environmental ethics. I'm with you, right? But this is the deal. Think about, in your mind, every person in South Florida who has a motorboat, right?
Mm-hmm.
On all of those canals
Yeah.
and all of those inland waterways, and all they do on their weekend is they go and they get a couple cases of beer, maybe an ounce of weed, whatever they do, and they drive around in their motorboats. And that's where they hit these creatures. That's one way they die. And, I mean, what are you going to say? No motorized boats?
No, what I'm going to say is that, look, there's bigger thinkers in the world than you and I. No offense. And what I'm going to say is it'd be really nice if they could just act like they cared about it and put a little bit of energy into finding out if there's any goddamn way not to lose all the manatees, man.
Well, we're trying, I think, with the orcas in Puget Sound.
That's not true. They're
I think people
pretending
are
to
watching
try.
that.
They're pretending to try. Go ahead.
I think people are aware of what's happening. There was a beluga whale, I think
Yeah.
is what it was. No, there was a beluga whale in Puget Sound, but
Yeah.
there was a weird shark, like a bath shark or some
Really?
strange shark in Olympia in the last couple of days.
Wow.
And also we've had orcas down here at the very far end of Puget Sound. I'm just saying, I think the people who live in Western Washington do care about the orcas. But what can they do to stop the encroachment with civilization and the encroachment with like, people building more houses?
Okay, look, here's what they can do. They can go, hey, Jeff Bezos, how many billions of dollars do you have? How much fucking shit do you bring through Seattle? How much fucking... Make a fucking difference. Figure it out. Get the best scientists on this, and let's at least pretend to care. Okay? Because right now, this bullshit of, oh yeah, we're keeping track of the... You're not doing garbage. You're not actually looking for a way to fix this. What you're doing is watching them die and cataloging them as they do. It's fucking bullshit.
It is bullshit, Mike. But and you know what? I like I said, I lived on Puget Sound, for example, like on the water, and I'm just saying that like there's a lot of problems with the way that the property and the land and everything is managed. One really awesome thing about Washington State, which I actually have a lot of admiration for, I don't even know how it fucking happened, but from the Columbia River all the way to Canada on the Pacific Ocean, it's basically nobody owns the beach. You can walk the beach from Mia Bay, except for the Indian Reservation.
Yeah.
A couple places. You have to walk around the Indian Reservation to get back to the beach. But you can walk all the way down the beach. And I think it's the same in Oregon as well. It's like, it's not, you can own a hotel, but only so many 100 feet away from the water. People are allowed to walk from the water. That is not the case in Florida. It's not the case in California. There are other places where it isn't the case. So I think it's awesome.
I was in Edmonds a couple of weeks ago, and we were on the water, and it said, oh no, it said no dogs, not no walking. Okay, never mind.
No dogs.
Yeah. Yeah, it doesn't work for me very well. There was this really cute girl there, man. She's like, come on, why aren't you taking your dog down on the beach? I was like, and it says no dogs. She says, it's okay, I'll go with you. I was like, okay. No, I was like, I can't take him down there. I don't want him to get hurt or anything.
I saw one of the coolest things near Ocean Shores, where you shot some footage there that you show in your program.
Yeah.
2 years ago, and it was right around Thanksgiving. It was that weekend. It was like one of these early nights, and I went there with a friend, and literally so many Washingtonians had gone to the beach just at dusk to gather clams, and they had torches on the beaches on sticks.
Yeah.
And then with their kids, they would walk out with plastic buckets and gather clams. I think it was a day before Thanksgiving or something like that. And it was a ritual that a regular thing that happens with people who have been collecting clams their whole life. And again, I think that's really beautiful. I know it happens in different ways in different parts of the country.
Around the world, different parts of the world.
Yeah, around the world. But that said and done, if we can respect the beaches and gather clams and such, we should be able to figure out how to protect whales and how to protect manatees in Florida and so forth. But
this, that's the thing is, I just think that we're selling humans short when we say, oh, we can't figure this out. Well, it's not that we can't figure it out. It's that it's just not on the priority list at all. Go ahead.
Do you think it was on the priority list 20,000 years ago, before we had all of these cities and we had all of these fields? I mean, maybe, do you think they saw a whale, or they saw a wild animal, and they're like, wow, that's an amazing thing. It's like a piece of the earth, and have respect for it. Because I don't think we have respect for wildlife on that same level that we did 20,000 years ago. So then you have to ask yourself, are we really that much smarter? Are we that much smarter than we were 20,000 years ago?
I don't think
we're the same species, Mike.
Yeah. I don't think, again, the evolution of mankind has been stalled. It's been stalled purposefully. And I think that it's really unfortunate, because we have this potential that we could make anything happen, but because they've got us all separated and all with these little labels that we attach to each other and we attach to ourselves, we're just we can't make anything happen, because you're one of those and you're one of those and I'm one of these and we don't get along. And that's the fucking programming.
Isn't it ironic that the Tower of Babel was supposed to be the thing that allowed us, we all communicated with each other, and we had this ability to communicate with each other, like in the Old Testament. But then the Tower of Babel was destroyed, and we all ended up speaking different languages. And I think it's a metaphor, kind of, for the internet, right? The internet was sold to us as this bill of goods, bill of sale. It was sold to us as this thing that was going to connect all of us. But what did it really do, Mike? It separated us. It sold us a bunch of merchandise and products. It created paywalls and pay accounts. So if you want information, you're going to kick down. You're going to really get the real information. And it censored people who had alternative points of view. And it's owned by the richest people in the world.
And it's just all about spying on us. I got to take a break, Chris. I'm sorry. I don't mean to cut you off, but I got to.
Thanks, Mike, for the time.
Yeah.
It's really a pleasure talking to you, as always. And
yeah.
I look forward to listening to the rest of the program.
All right. Well, I look forward to talking to you soon. Thanks for tuning in, okay?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, thanks, Mike. Peace.
Okay. I will be back in just 1 minute.
Sometimes life can be a little overwhelming. Sometimes the weight of the world can be too much to bear. Sometimes you need to stop worrying and take a deep breath. Sometimes you need cannabis. Introducing Brightside, high-quality cannabis delivered right to your door. Brightside offers an extensive menu of strains and products to meet your needs. Choose the experience you want, and we'll send you the dankest herb, the real sticky icky. Some top-shelf marijuana. If you like what we send you, keep the whole jar. We'll even include some nugs for you to blaze. As part of Discovery, you'll get to try new strains and products. Side effects may include euphoria, increased appetite, uncontrollable giggles, elevated sensitivity to musical dopeness, and reduced anxiety. Tetrahydrocannabinol may also induce feelings of existential well-being and relentless optimism. With a Brightside subscription, you can get it once a month, once a week, or whenever you want. All at a price you'll like. And yes, this is a real company.
Do you know who I am?
You're the wizard.
Ask your doctor if cannabis is right for you. It probably is. Keep it Brightside.
All right, I'm back. I think I have one more clip to share with you, and I think it kind of indirectly connects to the Rittenhouse case. So I'll play that for you momentarily. This thing with the manatees, this thing with the orcas, I want there not to be hungry people. And if the rich people have the ability to stop that, which I believe they do, why are they not doing it? And but the thing with the manatees, it may be an impossibility. That doesn't mean it's not worth giving it our all to see if we can actually save them. Hello, caller.
Yes, good evening, Master Michael, please.
Yeah.
Michael.
Yeah.
Hey, man, Bert Stone here. How you doing? How the heck are you?
Fine.
Just fine, huh?
Uh-huh.
You know what they say about that, right, Michael?
Uh-huh.
They say it's fine to be fine. So I'm fine with that. Michael, I'm calling tonight because I wanted to talk about a couple things that we've been covering tonight on your show. One of the things that you were talking about is that good people were rioting. Michael,
I did not say that. I did not say that.
Oh, I may have misunderstood you because I was just going over some of the paperwork and I saw that Mr. Rosenbaum here was not a good person.
Yeah, I didn't say anything about the protesters. Yeah, I didn't say anything about that. Looting.
I'm sorry then, Michael, I take that back. I may have misheard that. Another thing that I wanted to talk about is when we were talking about the Democrats, I know that you're no stranger to the fact that it seems like when Democrats get in, they don't do what they said they were going to do, right?
Does the other side do what they said they're going to do?
No.
Okay.
And right, and so I guess correct. And my question is at what point do we draw the line between conspiracy theories and Epstein Island as a place where politicians are selected and blackmailed for being into some weird stuff?
Well, the phrase conspiracy theories is basically used to discredit people talking about things that they don't want to discuss. So I would think that if you hear someone using the phrase conspiracy theories, you're probably on the right track.
Yeah. Michael, do you think that COVID is a real disease?
It's above my pay grade. I don't know.
I absolutely do, because I had it.
Okay.
And I am thinking, I told you this last time we talked. I know you talked to a lot of people, so you probably don't remember, but I was grateful, and I still am, even though I'm 8 weeks later still dealing with like long-term COVID symptoms. I just got some ivermectin, and I got to say that I do believe it's real, but I don't believe that it's a virus, and I'm grateful that I'm not vaccinated. I know that might or might not be okay to say, but I do believe that it's a parasite. And there's a lot of talk on BitChute. I don't know if you're familiar with that website. About the parasite that takes over the cat owner's brain, and it influences them to collect more cats, right?
Yeah.
And I guess I'm just wondering.
Yeah, go ahead.
Where do we draw the line between a parasite that can infect the human brain and influencing it to attract more cats? Do we stop there, or are there parasitic entities infecting the minds of some of these people that may actually be influencing them into making these anti-human decisions, while at the same time giving them this insatiable thirst for power?
Well, the people that are infecting the human brain, the journalism, the mainstream media in this country, if you want to refer to them as a parasitic infection, I think that's pretty appropriate. But I don't think it's an actual, parasitic thing. I just think that people are under kind of a hypnosis, a mass hypnosis, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, I always thought that until recently, because, man, I had to jump through hoops to get ivermectin. I mean, and I'm in Texas, you wouldn't believe how difficult it was to procure this very precious item. I actually had to go into Chinatown in Houston, Texas, of all places, and had some very benevolent Asian people give me the medicine that I needed to heal from this, whatever the hell it is. But that leads me into my next question, Michael. What are I don't know if you've talked about this recently, but with this Astro World thing, did you see that? I'm sure you did.
What? Oh, yeah, it just, I think it, honestly, I don't want to talk ill about the dead, so, because I don't have anything positive to say about that event.
But Michael, what if the people that died, at least to some degree, were actually innocent, even though they may have looked stupid trampling in at the beginning? I live in Houston, and it's very crowded. There's at least 45 million people here. But never once, and I've been to some shows out here even, I mean, International Ballroom, all kinds of stuff, man. I saw all kinds of shit back in the day. I can't even remember right now because I'm high. But I've never once heard of people dropping dead at a concert, and some of the footage that I saw, it didn't look like they were being trampled, Michael. It looked like they were collapsing from myocarditis. Or some kind of myocardial infarction.
It looked to me like a trampling. I've seen these tramplings before, and it looked an awful lot like that to me. I don't know. I haven't seen a lot of footage of it. Again, this is one of these things where, it's like the Rittenhouse thing. It's just, I can't stand how much coverage is being done of it, and it's there's something. It's like I have the feeling that they're going to use this concert as a way to end general admission. I don't want to call it seating, but yeah. You know what I mean? You won't be able to go there on the floor and have mosh pits and like that anymore.
Wow.
So.
Damn. Did about that so much. I was more considering the fact that perhaps maybe some of their decisions that they made to prophylax themselves against certain so-called viruses that are out there.
Yeah, no, I understand where you went with that. So, I mean, I'm just saying that to me, it's one of these things that I just, it's there's a like I said, there's a whole bunch of energy being put onto it, and I don't want to. I don't think it's worth our time.
I get where you're coming from, but it's not just about the medical decisions, because I think there's an additional factor here, and I'm someone that has actually.
I get what you're saying. We're not going to have that discussion.
Michael, listen real quick. I have been attacked by ultrasonic noise, and it left me with tinnitus. People that actually have it call it tinnitus. And I had vertigo. I thought my life was over. It literally felt like my brain was a cracked crystal, and it happened from an ultrasonic event that I'm not going to get into too much detail. It was nothing illegal.
Is that like the Havana complex kind of thing?
Yes, totally. And they're telling us that there's no such thing as it. Well, it really opened my eyes to how dangerous, how weaponized sound waves can become. And when I hear the concert, some of the noise, I mean, it sounds like, I can just, it just sounds toxic, like a toxic level of noise. So, I don't know. And I know I'm going way out there here, but it's just something to think about. I also wanted to say one thing about WikiLeaks, man. We were talking about 9/11 being an inside job earlier. But WikiLeaks is what led us into Q. Do you recall that?
To what? Led us into what?
So, the QAnon, the Q-tards, they were all crazy, but where were they getting the basis of their whole shtick? It was from WikiLeaks.
Well, there's these gigantic fucking like mail chains where people send out stuff. QAnon is a good example, but they've been around a lot longer than QAnon, where people share things, right? And I'm talking about millions of views in 24 hours. So it's like a lot of it's a religious kind of people getting together and sharing stuff that they think is important, but I've seen this happen before, so I don't know. I don't know that it's. Yeah, go ahead.
Did you see the Wayfair phenomenon, that kind of stuff, where they were selling furniture for $16,000 and naming it after missing children? Did you see that?
No, I didn't see that.
Oh, that was like 2 years ago. But yeah, and I guess there was just all this weird shit coming out about all that stuff, and I just feel like everything we're going through right now is connected to that. And back to the Rittenhouse trial and all this media circus, nobody's talking about Ghislaine, whatever her name is, Maxwell. Nobody's talking about that, but she's going through some stuff right now too in the courts.
Yeah, she's supposed to be, I think, appearing in the next 2 weeks or something in court.
Right, and that's actually really interesting.
Yeah, I agree. The Rittenhouse thing is fucking stupidity, as where, actually she is, her trial is actually very interesting.
Yeah, definitely. Michael, how do you feel about the FBI raiding Project Veritas? Did you cover that tonight and I missed it?
No, I didn't see anything about it. Did that just happen today?
No, it happened recently, though. I guess the Project Veritas crew allegedly acquired a Biden diary and the FBI paraded them over it, which, you know, is definitely bad for the First Amendment, I guess. Right? I mean, bring it to the press.
Look, at all of our rights are just fucked right now. I mean, it's like no matter what you believe your rights are, these people, the government can step up to you at any moment and say, yeah, those rights no longer exist for you. All of them. And, you know, including the right to an attorney.
If we go with it.
Huh?
Only if we go with it. Only if we believe them. They cannot take our rights away. They can only make us think they can.
No, they can they can put a black bag over your head and you never see a judge, you never talk to an attorney, you don't have any rights. Are you really not aware of that?
I mean, no, because it happened to my son, but I mean, you know, at the same time, when I went to go pick him up, his court-appointed attorney was talking all kinds of stuff about him out in public in front of everybody and had no idea who I was, right? And so when we got in there, you know, it was a no shit moment, and all kinds of, the law didn't matter anymore. It was more like a, you know, you said and you said and you said thing, and they dropped it. But I just want to say, Michael, that humanity is not going away forever, but the system that we are in is at risk, and personally, I'm okay with that.
I don't know what's going to happen. Actually, I have the feeling that something really, really big is going to happen that changes the course of humanity, because again, as I've said over and over again, they're holding back the evolution of man. They're doing it purposefully, and I think there's going to be an event which kind of brings that evolution into existence, and that will somewhat change everything. We'll find out. You know, like first contact or something like that.
Well, I just think that, you know, as the public becomes more and more aware of the old paradigm, that it loses its power. It's kind of like when you laugh at something. And then as everybody starts to laugh at it more and more and more, it starts to just become a joke.
I think that that's already where it's at. The problem is that as a joke, they can get away with doing shit for years and years and years, decades even, right? So they can go ahead and act like they're completely incompetent, and they don't have any control over inflation, and they can't make anything happen at the docks. They can act like that, but this is all you know, planned. This is all happening on purpose.
Michael, I just think that we have been in a bear run globally as humanity. We've been just on the downslope. But, you know, the market and the ocean moves in waves, brother. And every night turns into morning, man. And I just think that this long night is coming to an end. I really believe that.
Yeah, well, you know, keep the faith. I think that there's nothing I would like to see more. And I talk about this all the time. When this police state, this over-intrusive, ever-expanding, comply or die police state ends, I want to celebrate with everybody on that day, you know, because this is this thing that's keeping us all apart, you know, and if we can just get rid of these things that are keeping us all apart, we could have the most awesome fucking party, you guys. What's the holdup, man? Don't you like parties?
We can bake nugs. We can bake nugs out of a volcano.
Whatever. I'm good. I'm good with whatever. I just want to hang out and dance. That's really all I want to do.
I'll see you there then.
Right on. Look forward to that day.
Michael, you have a good night, brother.
All right, you too.
Bye.
Okay, so I have one video left. So if anybody wants to go, actually, I have like 3 videos left, but I'm only going to play one of them for you. And it's, again, this one that kind of relates to the Kyle Rittenhouse case. So if you want to call, now's your chance to do it. I'm going to play this video. It's a short video. Craig will be happy to take your call and get it up to me as soon as the video's over. So let's play this video, and then we can discuss it if you like, but only for a minute, because I'm not going to wait forever. Hey, come on. Where you at? Where you at? There it is.
New tonight, auto theft is on the rise statewide, but in Pierce County, it is especially high. Law enforcement says it's likely because it's harder than ever for them to investigate and also pursue these cases.
Yes, Fox 13 reporter Olivia LaVoice explains it's left some people feeling like they need to take matters into their own hands.
It's kind of that gut-wrenching feeling that, you know, they came into your personal world, your personal bubble, and then they got scot-free, you know, they're away scot-free.
It was around 5:30 in the morning when Chance Robinson and his wife heard his truck's engine turned on and realized someone was stealing it.
Grabbed my concealed weapon and then took off in my vehicle in pursuit after them.
Robinson sped off behind the thief while calling 911 to give officers the car's location.
The cop got behind them. They ended up starting to speed up. With the new pursuit laws, they couldn't chase them, so they ended up losing the vehicle.
A law passed this year in Washington state prevents law enforcement from pursuing a vehicle just because it's stolen. Vehicle pursuits are now reserved only for crimes that pose a public safety risk. So if an officer tries to pull over a stolen vehicle and that driver doesn't stop, the cop has to let him go. So Robinson took things into his own hands, taking to social media, asking for people to be on the lookout for his truck. And it worked. The next day, he got a tip about its location. But when deputies arrived, all but one suspect got away, and deputies felt there wasn't enough evidence to arrest him. But even if they did, it wouldn't have made much of a difference.
When we arrest someone for stealing a car or in possession of a stolen vehicle, right now you get released on the scene. So we have thieves that get caught multiple times in a row, and they continue to commit the same crimes over and over again.
Sergeant Moss says that's part of a policy to try to keep the jail population low during the pandemic. He also says it's undoubtedly contributing to the spike in theft. Last month alone, there were 796 cars stolen, which is more than double that same time last year.
It's just frustrating because they can't do anything, so we took it upon ourselves to do it, which is you're going to see a lot more of basically a vigilante upbringing if the laws continue to stay where they're at.
Robinson got his truck back, but he doesn't feel much better about the ordeal.
Preferred to see justice be served rather than have my truck back, to be honest.
Olivia LaVoice, Fox 13 News.
Investigators say the best advice to protect your car is simply make it as difficult as possible for thieves to take it. Police say if it's not easy, they'll usually move on to the next.
Again, this guy wasn't going out looking for trouble. Trouble came to him. That's why you're armed, okay? In case trouble comes your way or someone else's way in your general vicinity, maybe you can help stop the trouble. You don't go out looking for trouble, okay? Someone's, again, you let the trouble come to you. It's very basic philosophy. It's easy to understand. And I get the whole Second Amendment thing about the Rittenhouse trial. I think that there shouldn't be a Second Amendment issue there because he's just fucking stupid. Hello, caller.
Michael, this is Steve McClanahan.
Who?
What was that last video exactly explaining that we need to, what are we doing? We're supposed to do what?
Let the trouble come to you. You don't go out looking for trouble. How difficult is this for you to understand, Steve?
Dude, what if I, place a gun in my door handle on my vehicle and a random person comes over there and pulls up on my door handle and it shoots them? Am I looking for trouble?
If you don't properly secure your weapon, yes, you are looking for trouble. Are you new today?
Well, sir, what I'm trying to say is, if somebody is trying to beat the shit out of you, do you hand them your weapon?
No. If somebody's trying to beat the shit out of you, then you didn't go looking for trouble. It came to you.
Oh. Oh, so from what you're trying to say, from today's standpoints, if there's a guy out there walking freely with his firearm, you need to go over there and beat the shit out of him.
How did I say that?
That's really what you're trying to say. You just don't get it. They should have left their firearm at home.
I don't get what I'm trying to say. Okay, I got it.
They should have never taken their firearm out of their house.
No,
ever.
you take your firearm out to protect you and others in case there's trouble. You don't go out looking for trouble.
Firearms. You had 300 firearms. You never took them sons of bitches out of your house ever looking for trouble.
No, never looking for trouble.
Right?
Never ever looking for trouble. I
Well,
took
good for you.
guns out of the house on a regular basis. I carried from the time I was 13, 14. Okay?
You were so full of shit. You were so full of shit, dude.
Again, you don't have any idea of the circumstances under which I was growing up. Okay?
Yeah, that's it. Tell it to a fucking social worker, bro. Literally.
The social worker's not going to believe or care, so why would I do that?
Do you not get it? Tell it to a fucking
Apparently
social
not.
worker. Nobody gives a fuck about your goddamn sob story.
You
about
brought
when
it
you were a
up,
child.
asshole.
No, you do.
No,
You're constantly bringing it up
I'm
like you're a
using
fucking
my.
man.
I'm using my experience with guns as a reference point. Yes, that's what I'm doing.
What, like never
you don't ever
actually-
point a gun at someone because they're always loaded. Like that. That kind of experience.
Right, we just seen that.
Seen what?
In this whole Rittenhouse case.
No, we saw it in
Do
the
you not get it?
We saw it in the Alex Baldwin case. We didn't see
Do you
it.
not get it?
Obviously
Literally,
not.
this-
How many times do I have to tell you? Obviously, I don't get it.
Man, fucking Rittenhouse was a goddamn marksman.
Oh,
A
it sounds like to you he was a goddamn martyr.
The dude fucking literally fucking protected himself, and you have a problem with that, Michael. What the fuck is wrong with you?
Do you not know what my problem is? He went
Yeah,
out looking for trouble.
know.
He took
You-
his fucking AR and went out to see if he could find people who needed to be shot. That's what
Yeah,
he did.
dude, you said this exact same thing when this whole story came out, and you're wrong. And you will never look into even the trial ever and admit you're wrong ever. And that's what the problem is in America. Is you fucking old people sitting on your ass, bitching, and not doing anything.
I didn't say a goddamn word about Kyle Rittenhouse until fuckwads didn't stop talking about it. Yes, bullshit. The first day, I said I don't want to talk about that. The second day, it was like, oh, can we talk about Kyle Rittenhouse now? I said, go
I'm
ahead.
talking about when the whole shit happened, when it very first happened.
Yeah.
You were all over, like, oh my God, fucking case closed.
Case closed what?
Case closed. This guy needs to go to prison. He's just out there looking for trouble. When it very first happened, the whole shooting shit, you were like, these people don't understand that this guy needs to go to prison for the rest of his life right now.
I never
Literally,
said
within
that.
fucking
Why are you so
24
full of
hours.
shit? I don't understand why you're so full of shit, dude. or so
It
angry.
wasn't even fucking
It's
like
confusing.
24 hours, and you were saying this kid needs to go to prison for the rest of his life.
Of course I
and
did.
it's
I
been,
said,
like, over
as
a
I've
year
said
now.
about every kid and every person who you people call up and talk about how fucking stupid they are, right? I say, give them a break, give them a break, give them a break. Now, someone genuinely stupid doing genuinely stupid things, and you're like, oh no, he's a fucking messiah.
Dude, if Kyle Rittenhouse was out there in the streets as a 16-year-old girl in short skirts, you would fucking be on your knees begging the fucking justice system to fucking rain hell upon the earth. Okay,
Right,
so
because that's what I did. That's what I did with the Gabby, whatever her face is, fucking story. We got this sweet little ass in short shorts, and all I did was talk about that sweet little ass endlessly, right?
Right. You need to take a look at your behavior, sir. You need to fucking grow the fuck up. You're nearly 60. Okay, I hate to say that.
I don't need to grow up, okay? I don't need to.
You
I
do.
don't have to if I don't want to. So,
And
fuck
know what, son of a
you.
bitch, I
Stop
just
telling
told
me
you
what to do.
I just told your little fucking bitch ass what to do. It's time for you to get some structure and some discipline.
No.
Okay?
Fuck
Michael,
you!
I gotta go 'cause I have to go to work in the morning, Michael. I can't continue with this conversation. I gotta go.
Good.
Good night. We love you, son.
Okay, look, I don't have to grow up, okay? I don't have to do that. So, you go ahead and you grow up and you let me know how that works out for you, okay? Because the vast majority of the people that I see that are grown up don't seem very happy at all, okay? And in case you don't know it, I walk around with a big smile on my face the vast majority of the day. Speaking of which, I made a new batch of cannabis butter today, which I'm going to go test out in a minute because that sounds pretty good. I'm waiting to see if anybody else wants to call. Did I play this last video? Yeah, I did. Okay. And I knew that it was going to be Steve McClanahan, and I knew that he's going to fucking, for a so-called journalist, he sure gets his facts screwed up, because I never said Kyle Rittenhouse should go to jail. I've said that Kyle Rittenhouse is stupid, and he is. And it's not just that he's stupid, he did stupid things, okay? And, I play stupid games, win stupid prizes. So whatever happens to him, get off, don't care. I mean, he did something really, really stupid. And I don't want to have a big discussion about it because most people don't look at it from that standpoint. Doesn't matter if you're Democrat, doesn't matter if you're Republican, conservative, liberal, doesn't matter. They don't look at it from the basic logic standpoint. He's stupid, and he did something very, very, very stupid. So, and it's unfortunate that nobody can, just get down to the basics, because we don't need all this convoluted shit. He's stupid, he did something stupid, punish him however it is you're going to punish him. But don't act like this is somehow how all gun owners are, okay? Because that, again, is extremely stupid, And it's this whole fucking terrorist thing, man. I told you guys so many times, we're all terrorists. That's how they see us. I should start to show that way. Welcome, all my terrorist brothers and sisters! Because again, it's according to the government, it's the facts. You, I, everybody here We're all terrorists. And this is why we have to come together. This is why we have to stop with the labels. We have to see that there's one giant label that's attached to all of us. And it was put there by the government. And none of you people even act like you see it or know about it. It's this big fucking can't miss it fucking sign on your back that says terrorist. That's who you are. That's the way the government sees you. That's how it will always be from September 11th, 2001, moving forward. You and everyone else in this country is a motherfucking terrorist. Okay? So, at least try and be a little bit smart about it, so you don't give all of us other terrorists a bad name. All right, no callers. I am going to go and heat up my tea and find something to eat. Ooh, I got pizza. I'm going to go eat some pizza. Oh, sounds good. All right, thanks so much for tuning in. We do this every Monday through Friday at 7 p.m. Pacific time, which means we'll be back tomorrow. Same Mox time, same Mox channel. Until then, stay cool, because one of these days, this war is going to end. Stay cool till then.
No matter which mouth you feed on a two-headed snake, it still shits the same turd. But lucky for you, you have Mox News. More than 10 years. More than 60,000 videos. Mox News has been filtering the nonsense and illuminating the bullshit from your mainstream media. Turn off your TV and turn on to Mox News. For over a decade, documenting the socio-political events that have etched and carved the pathways that define today's modern mess, Mox News has been providing clarity while faithfully bringing you today's relevant stories 100% commercial-free and subscription-free. And just like Lady Liberty vows to remain free. But at this time, we're asking you for your help, your patronage, and your support to keep the lights on and the videos rolling. For less than 17 cents per day, you can become a basic subscriber, knowing that your donation is truly making a difference that will help continue bringing the news stories that make a difference in your life. Turn on, tune in, and drop a couple dimes today by clicking the link below or visiting moxnews.com and show your support at any level. From a single one-time donation or dedicated monthly subscriber, do it now in less than 2 minutes. All donations are safe, securely processed, and verified using PayPal, Visa, MasterCard, American Express, or Discover Card. As always, we're sure you'll find something of interest each and every day. This holiday season, give the gift of Mox. moxnews.com.
I mean, this coalition of misfits, and they cobble together and they don't attack each other. They stay united. I wish the coalition of misfits, and they cobble together and they don't attack each other. They stay united. Coalition of misfits, and they cobble together and they don't attack each other, they stay united. Coalition of misfits, and they cobble together and they don't attack each other, they stay united. Coalition of misfits, and they cobble together and they don't attack each other, they stay united. Coalition of misfits, and they cobble together and they don't attack each other, they stay united. Coalition of misfits, and they cobble together and they don't attack each other, they stay united. Coalition of misfits, and they cobble together and they don't attack each other, they stay united. Coalition of misfits, and they cobble together and they don't attack each other, they stay united. Coalition of misfits, and they cobble together and they don't attack